researching one of the weirdest stories that I've ever looked into. It's about a once fringe movement among the tech elite that aims to replace governments entirely with corporations. Privatized societies run by CEOs, built for profit, not for people. Almost like they wanted their own little worlds, playlands, built just for them based on their desires. I eventually pulled away from the story because it seemed a little more silly than anything to be concerned about. But then I realized they might already be getting their way. Just look at Doge and Palantir replacing or breaking the basics of the government. The plans for a futuristic, privatized new Gaza. AI infrastructure growth that seems immune to public opinion, and invasions of countries seemingly at random.
A new power structure in society that will overcome the existing democratic power structures. When billionaires suddenly have a tremendous amount of power and democracy has been proven to be exceedingly vulnerable.
So I decided to dig back in. What is this movement? Where did it come from? How did the people involved get so powerful? Where is it going? And importantly, what can we do to stop it?
Where is it coming from? Where did you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? No, that's actually pretty serious, I think. I've been paying attention to that a little bit for a while. I've actually collected some stuff. Like, I think that the the billionaires and the whole what they've been planning in coordination with Trump and whatnot, this regime, I think that's probably pretty goddamn important to know about, and that we really only just kind of have like the tip of the iceberg of that thing. It's probably like it look, it reads like comic book villainy is what it, like there's like it's Bond villain type shit. Something pretty fucked up. Anyway, hey, welcome. How you doing? How's everybody doing here? Doing there? Doing all right? Doing good. All right. So Trump, as a matter of fact, this guy's a genius. I don't know if you know that. He's really, really smart. He's also very, very sane, and he's very, very with it. Like he's just fucking man. He's so quick. Here he is visiting, I guess, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of AI hologram type fucking display thing that had, long dead former President Teddy Roosevelt speaking in like a hologram type of thing. And Trump is sitting there watching. Check this out.
President faces storms most people never see. Keep your nerve and remember the nation comes first. You get through. I know you know that feeling yourself.
Well, I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic. And I just want to say it's an honor to be with you today. We are making a little bit of a tour. Some of the fantastic things you've done.
This motherfucker thinks that he's talking to a person, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, he's not. I mean, no, that's you're completely misreading the whole thing. Trump isn't carrying out other people's plans. Trump is the vehicle for people to carry out their plans. He is just the easily seized lever of power that the various billionaires, obviously Musk has, Thiel has, who knows who else has, all the AI companies, all that shit, the Ellisons have for sure. They're not fucking letting Trump handle their shit. They're handling Trump. So are the fucking Qataris. So are the fucking Saudis. So literally fucking Putin, everybody except for anybody that might actually have good intentions or, some type of democratic notions in mind. No, everybody's just been fucking, they all see Trump for what he is. They're not like the people that are in power and the billionaires and stuff and people in power in other places. They're not like, oh, this Trump is a great guy. We got to line up behind him. No, they're like, this fucking guy is so stupid and so vain. All we have to do is tell him how cool he is, and he's going to fucking bend over and just like let us ram it right in his ass. He's going to spread cheeks for us. And that's what he does. It's obvious. Like, that's what Putin's been doing. It's pretty clear. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, welcome. I mean, so, the reason I think that part of the thing is that I don't know about the military. The military is probably apart from what I'm about to say in my mind, I guess. Like, it seems like they would take that a little bit more seriously, I guess. But I believe that Trump is under direct, he's been instructed to or guided to essentially ruin all institutions of this country. And if you look around at it, it's like, I got a video about it, a quick short that a guy makes a case. Let me see. God damn, my computer is being really weird and buggy today. It's like, it is weird. Okay, there it goes. Check this out.
If the President of the United States were a Russian intelligence asset, what would he be doing differently than what we have already observed? In 1997, a Russian political theorist named Alexander Dugin published a book called Foundations of Geopolitics. Its prescriptions were specific: fracture the transatlantic alliance, encourage isolationism in the United States, inflame racial, regional, and cultural divisions within American society, undermine confidence in American elections. There is a term of art, useful idiot, for the far end of that spectrum, where the asset does not even know he's an asset at all. Intelligence services, when they recruit, rarely hand their assets a script. Their handlers do not need to tell them what to do. They only need to ensure the person keeps being themselves. A person like that, elevated to the American presidency, would attack NATO in public and in private. He would humiliate allied heads of state and speak admiringly of adversaries. He would question the mutual defense obligations that have anchored European security since 1949. He would wage sustained war on the professional civil service and the intelligence community, the very institutions trained and legally obligated to detect foreign influence at the highest levels of government. He would generate enough internal chaos to paralyze coherent strategic response. Every behavior described in this essay can be explained without any foreign hand at all. And if the machinery of American government cannot tell which it is facing or act decisively against any of them, then the vulnerability is not about the one man. It's about the whole architecture. And that's where things stand. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If the President of the United States were a Russian intelligence asset, what would he be doing differently than what we have already?
You already listened to you. Get out of here. So, I mean, I don't understand what this I can't, I'm going to have to be more judgmental about or judicious about what comments I engage with, because I don't understand what this means. Are you suggesting that Putin can't do what we were looking at here because he's trying not to win the war? Are you suggesting he can only do one thing at a time? I don't know what this is. Yeah. Anyway, point being that it's, as he was saying, maybe Trump doesn't realize that he's fucking just totally a tool for Putin. But you got to remember, Putin is old school KGB. There are accounts, they're not necessarily confirmed as far as I can tell, but there are accounts allegedly from sex workers in former Soviet Russia that can attest to Trump being handled by, like, basically back whenever the USSR was still around. They had, and I'm sure that they still employ this tactic to a degree, they had sex workers that were basically, if you were a sex worker working in Moscow, you were also doing some work for the Kremlin. You also had a handler in the KGB, and you would give them information on the men that you would partake in your services. And so there's some accounts of Trump, in the late 80s, early 90s, stuff like that. There's a hotel that I don't remember the name of it. There was a hotel in Moscow that was essentially the one that they would try to get all foreign, business people and dignitaries and stuff to stay at this hotel, because that's the one that has cameras in every room. That's the one that allegedly, supposedly, maybe the whole P tape was made in. And that they did that for essentially everybody from overseas or from any other country that came to the USSR to try and get compromise on them. Anyway, I don't know if Trump is knowingly doing any of this stuff, but I think that he's at least a useful idiot, because he does all that stuff. He inflames racial tensions, all these things that, just come naturally to him, honestly. So somehow Russia is one country more controlled by conspiracy theorists than the US. How is that? Can you substantiate that? I mean, how do you measure that? Anyway, so point being that, you know, these motherfuckers, they got to go. All right, guys, here's the thing. Here is what's going on with me. I am in an emergency situation. If you follow me long enough, you know that I don't make it a habit to ask anything of you other than, you know, liking and subscribing. And sometimes I'm pretty bad about asking for that. But you know that, like, for nearly 3 years of my channel's life, I was not even monetized. And basically that was partly because I just decided not to pursue it. Once they cut whatever happened, and you know, cut me off of money for well over a year and a half. And then I got it again monetized, and then fucking follow up of the previous shit happened. And I just said, you know what? Fuck it. I have not ever done this for money. Money's been nice to help pay for, like, whenever I have had it. And also Patreon's been consistently paying for my Adobe suite for a few years now. And I appreciate all of the patrons. But that's basically what it paid for. I didn't really have any money left over after that. I'm not complaining, because I was very grateful to not have to literally take money out of my pocket to pay Adobe. So all the Adobe stuff paid for. That's really all. That was all I could ask for, right? I haven't liked asking for money. I didn't plan to make a living doing this. In particular, the last, you know, year or so, that I've really slowed down on making videos at all, and being as consistent as I used to be. You know, that was something that was kind of planned to a degree. But here I am, and look, I'm just going to throw it out there. My family and I are having to move in a very fucking short time frame. Short enough that we don't have the money that we need for first month's rent, last month's rent, deposits, pet deposits, and moving van and movers. We have some of it, but we don't have enough of it. Not even close, really. So I have created a GoFundMe, and I know that fucking things are really difficult for everybody right now. So that's another reason that I've been so hesitant. I probably should have done this weeks ago, whenever I knew it was going to be a problem, or a couple weeks ago. But here I am. You know, I got this pit in my stomach now. I hate this shit. So the QR code you see on the screen is that. If you can donate any amount, and please don't put yourself out. Don't take any food out of your own home or your own mouth or nothing like that. I don't want that. Only if you have an extra few dollars and you're able to. And if you don't, that's okay too. I will ask that everybody please just share this, share it, and you know, just try to get it going around. I don't know. I'm hoping that we can, because I think we have like a couple of weeks really. And somebody just donated $14. Jonathan, thank you. I appreciate you, man. Wow, that just popped up on my phone. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I think that might be the first donation. And then we've got a Wild Bob appeared. Hello.
Well, hello.
Hello. Did you see Trump talking to Teddy Roosevelt?
I did.
Isn't that amazing?
It was amazing. What's even more amazing is what he said in a press conference or something later, where he repeated back what he talked to Teddy Roosevelt said, and he got it completely wrong. He doesn't even know what he said himself. Like, the stuff he said he talked to Teddy Roosevelt about is not what he talked to Teddy Roosevelt about.
So he not only had a fake delusional conversation with a not even real Teddy Roosevelt, he then had a delusional version of that fake delusional conversation later.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great, folks. Our president.
Like he said, he said something like he asked Teddy Roosevelt questions about the Democrats, and if he was mad at the Democrats had done X, Y, and Z or something like that. And if you watch the video, that's not what he said at all.
Oh, God damn it.
He asked him if he thought the Panama Canal was his greatest achievement or something. And then Teddy Roosevelt said, no, not really. Panama Canal was cool and all, but I'm more fond of like the parks. And
right. No, Trump's like, I don't understand that. That's fucking stupid, right? Like, how do you even make money on that? You know?
Yeah.
That would be Trump. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this guy. Oh God.
So Jay Kung is asking you to link the GoFundMe in chat.
Yeah, 1 second. I got you. Thank you. As soon as my weird shit starts being weird here. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to make this work, or make it like to navigate fucking GoFundMe's website. It's weird because like I forgot that the thing I'm looking at first when I go to it is not the fundraiser, even though it's listed there. The fundraiser listed. That's my account, and I have to like go, oh wait, click on the thing to share. Otherwise, I'm just sharing a link to my account, which nobody will be able to get in without the password.
So in the transition while setting up here, I missed your pitch about the GoFundMe. Did you say how much money you're trying to raise?
I did not know. So okay, I'll just to be completely transparent. There was an AI chatbot that helped me set this up. Okay. And I figured out I don't like to fucking use that kind of shit at all. But I'm like, look, I kind of am in an emergency situation, and if this is it offered to tell me the best ways based on successful campaigns, and I'm like, kind of need that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I did it, and what it did was whenever it asked for the amount, it said, first of all, it said people in this situation usually ask for $12,000, and I said that's way too much. That's not what we need. So I said, really like what we'd come to, and I can show you guys the breakdown of the finances and stuff. Is about like $5,000, like $5,100 would cover everything for sure. And I'm like, well, so I'll just say 6, half of what the thing is telling me that I should try. So I set it for 6, and then it goes, okay, well, first we're gonna say it's 2,800 is the goal, because a softer goal like that is more likely to get. It's like, that's weird. That feels like you're manipulating people. Yep. You know what I mean? But like, so I'm telling you about it now just because that's what it did. And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Just make it 2,800, and then after like a day, it's gonna bump up to the actual amount or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Oh, I see what it's doing. Yeah, so that's like classic marketing shit and fundraising shit. Like, because it's right. You ask people for a smaller amount up front, and they're more likely to say yes. Like when I was doing street fundraising, where the goal was to sign people up for $30 a month, we would pitch it as it only costs you $1 a day, which is less than the cup of coffee you just bought.
Oh, that's just like what's her name used to do. It's just less than a cup of coffee a day, and she'd be crying.
Yeah, and that's not a lie.
No, but it is a specific framing, which is not, while not being a lie, can be pretty deceptive or dishonest. Disingenuous at least. And so I'm disclosing that because I don't want anybody to think that I would not have thought to do that on my own, and I just kind of was in not a hurry, but I'm like, let's just get this over with. I'm making the link shorter, by the way. Give me a second. I'm doing a tiny URL real quick, and then now we got that.
But hey, if I told you to raise $12,000, I say shoot for the moon, man.
Well,
and if you miss, reload and shoot again. The moon must be stopped at all costs.
We have to kill the moon. All right. So UWE BOLL. Do you know about UWE BOLL? You know him?
UWE BOLL.
UWE BOLL. Yeah.
UWE balls.
Yeah. UWE balls. There's a small.
Remind me. Didn't he direct one of the Resident Evil movies?
No. He directed.
Who am I thinking of?
I think it was was it? There's what's his name that directed all the Resident Evil movies.
Who am I mixing?
I keep forgetting there's the one on Netflix, and then another one more recently that I have not seen. So in my mind, the Resident Evil films are still just the ones with Mila Jovovich.
I could swear he has directed something.
It's not Wes Anderson. It's Paul. It's Paul directed. Paul W.A. Anderson, right? Isn't that
right?
Paul Thomas Anderson, which is good filmmaker. Paul W.A. Anderson, which is not, or no, W.S. Anderson. That's it.
All right. I was thinking of he directed the 2005 Alone in the Dark movie.
Yes.
Which was awful. I was mixing that up with Resident Evil for some reason.
So the reason I called him in the title, the reason I called him, I don't know if you saw it, it's on my channel titled different thing, but like, the reason I said he's a scammer is because he literally is. The reason that he was able to make so many films video game adaptations that were just like universally like hated, loathed, just the, you know, terrible films. Like you'd think, okay, one movie he makes that's terrible, and then he's not able to get financing for another one. That's what should happen, right? No. In Germany, they had, until 2006, they had some kind of tax loophole that he was able to take advantage of that allowed him to make money on shitty movies and make money for the investors, even if it was just the shittiest thing since shit. Okay. And that was, he kept doing it. And he's just like taking IP and ruining IP by making crappy adaptations of it. I mean, I don't know how good these IP were anyway, but still.
He's like the opposite of The Rock. Like The Rock used to call himself franchise Viagra.
Right.
UWE BOLL is like franchise erectile dysfunction.
Well, and then he's also a big piece of shit. So we looked at it on the showcast one time, but he had at one point he got pissed off enough about people saying he was the worst director that he started challenging his critics to boxing matches. And he actually had at least one boxing match with a critic of his and by the way, he like boxes, you know, as an amateur kind of in his spare time. He knows how to box, and he beat the shit out of some dude, you know, and it's like, what the fuck is the point of this? But I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like when I saw that he is now had made a movie with Army Hammer, you know, we can get into all that stuff, but like, and apparently it's a pretty racist, fucked up, gross movie. And then people started criticizing him, like, oh my God, oh, what? He made that? What? And then I see him defending the movie and saying some really fucking gross shit. And I was like, it makes perfect sense that he just found MAGA, because he's a hack. He's a fucking talentless piece of shit asshole that somehow remains successful because he scammed his way through the system. And then whenever people criticize him, he just wants to fucking beat the shit out of them and punish them for it. So yeah, that's MAGA, man. That's totally Trumpian shit.
Yeah. Here's a short list of the video game franchises he destroyed by making movies out of them.
Okay.
House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain, In the Name of the King, which is based on the Dungeon Siege
and
games.
the sequel to that too. Jason Statham, or at least one of them.
Like all of the sequels to all of those.
Jesus.
Far Cry.
Yep.
He made the Far Cry movie. Yeah, that's just a short list. I'm sure there's other ones.
It's oh, it looks Morgan.
Hello, Morgan.
My screen is oh, there we go. Okay. Morgan, hey.
Hi. Not too shabby.
Right on. They would pay him money for making a movie, and it didn't matter if it bombed or not, and they bombed more often than not. I think they bombed like every single time, essentially.
Which who are we talking about?
UWE BOLL.
Oh, UWE BOLL. Yeah, he
UWE BOLL.
Ew, balls. Oh God.
Yeah, he is not a good director, and it seems like time has not improved his craft by the sound of things.
So maybe this will help inform you guys about what kind of shit tip he's on these days. So guess the couple of the channels that he's done interviews on recently.
Oh no.
Film Threat with Chris Gore and Midnight's Edge. I wouldn't be surprised to see him popping up on Friday Night Tights if he hasn't already. So
yeah, if he's pals with Chris Gore, I can see that, because they're both in the washed up has-been racist club.
Yeah. Well, here's this. This is him. I haven't watched this yet, but this is a clip of. I saw some clip. I don't know if it's the one I grabbed, but I saw one before. Somebody donated $10. Thank you. Appreciate you very much.
Fuck yeah.
So he made this movie called Citizen Vigilante, starring Army Hammer. And yeah, so he took Army Hammer in and said, you know what, I don't care if you are a cannibal or whatever. I don't even know the details with that. If you really eat somebody, I don't know. I just know there was discussion around him potentially eating people or something. I guess he didn't actually eat anybody that was dead or kill anybody, because he didn't go to prison, as far as I know. So I don't know.
He told, if I remember correctly, he told some women he had been dating that he wanted to eat them or part of them, and they eventually figured out that he wasn't talking about, he was talking about actually eating them.
And he wasn't talking about eating ass either, apparently. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So women started going like, check his hard drive, please.
Yeah, someone? please, gentlemen. Pro tip: don't. Just don't.
So UWE BOLL UWE Bowls found him and said, you know what, this guy, I'm going to bring him back in and, you know, give him this movie where he is apparently killing Somalis.
Yeah.
And you know how, you know, MAGA is all about fucking hating Somalis right now.
That's their new yeah,
yeah.
That's their current hate boner.
So yeah, let's check out what he says here.
Oh no.
Courage today to make movies because they all have the same fucking opinions. Courage is to make movies where they want to put you in jail for.
That's courage. Okay. Nobody wants to put you in jail, man. They just don't want you to make fucking stupid movies.
They just think you're bad at your job.
And you're you're an asshole. You're just a fucking. He's a crass fucking shithead. You know about the boxing thing, Morgan? That he boxed some of his critics or whatever.
Yeah, that was years ago now. That was like, before my second puberty.
I'm gonna get mine.
Well, it comes in pill form.
Oh, I need to check that out. Sounds fun.
That depends.
I'm trying to plug my keyboard in because apparently it just died on me.
Oops. So okay, I want to like push back on the like, these are the movies they don't want you to make.
Right.
The Taken movies were just that, but like successful and compelling. But at the end of the day, it's just Liam Neeson killing brown people. There's a lot of movies that is just hero kills brown people. Iron Man is hero kills brown people.
Yeah.
But like that, so he's not saying anything new or controversial. Okay, you made a movie where a white guy kills brown people. Got it. Cool. Anything else? No? Okay. You don't have anything new to say. I
just realized what it was. I saw a video of him who I saw him talking to. It's really exciting stuff. I got the full video. I'm gonna pull it up in a second. No, it actually is.
Okay.
But first I was gonna check. Morgan, did you see our current president speaking to a past president?
I did see him speaking to the Hall of Presidents thing at Disney World or whatever the fuck that was.
And that he seemed to think he was like really talking to him. Like he didn't understand that was not the spirit of Teddy Roosevelt trapped in a digital device or something. Like yeah.
Okay, in the event we have the ability to trap Theodore Roosevelt in an artificial program and reincarnate him. I don't know, make that guy president. Can't, that guy gave us like unions and stuff, didn't he? Wasn't he a big pro-union president?
I mean, he gave us parks for sure. And
we could have more parks. That would be an improvement.
He was an old school populist who was an imperialist, but also kind of a socialist. It's
right.
Weird.
He's a weird guy. But I'll take a weird guy over...
Well, that's because, socialism hadn't been properly maligned by, decades of propaganda quite yet at that point.
That's true.
I meant socialist in the classic Marxist sense, that socialism is when the government does stuff.
Oh.
Yes,
you know what? Before
the more stuff it does, the more socialist it is.
I've got this thing.
A lot of stuff that's communism.
That's related to this. So check this out.
Okay.
Two socialists and a moderate who calls himself a liberal Zionist won their Democratic primary. The world is ending!
Our candidate was perfect. She was 72. She was good on Israel. She had a bright future ahead of her.
Harris, Schlossberg, 2028. We can't lose. No, Ezra loves it.
You don't win elections by appealing to the material needs of voters. You win elections by being moderately transphobic.
Abolish ICE. Reform ICE. Yeah?
So instead of calling it a genocide, just say, I sometimes disagree with Benjamin Netanyahu. You're welcome.
Kamala lost the election because of those pro-Palestine people.
Aren't they like a huge voting bloc, though? Shouldn't we cozy up to them? They could swing an election.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. The only people we meet in the middle are the far right!
Yeah. Everyone needs to get excited about Gavin Newsom.
Picture this. Pete and Chastity Buttigieg on the Lockheed Martin Pride float next year at Pride.
When I say change, you say eventually! Change!
Eventually!
Change!
Eventually! I don't understand. We bought ads on cable television. You know who watches cable television? Everyone.
Do you ever think we might be a little out of touch?
That's beautiful.
It's pretty good.
That's special. That's
so. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just gonna play the video. Unfortunately, this is a Piers Morgan clip.
Oh no!
The guest, other than UWE BOLL, is the only reason I downloaded the whole video, and we're gonna check it out.
Oh no!
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back.
In my film, he goes against criminals, not Muslims, criminals. And
no, he murdered an entire family.
So, and that's the thing.
No, he didn't. That's not true, Uwe.
No,
he killed the entire family, Uwe. You're lying.
Oh my God.
The controversial new movie Citizen Vigilante is not subtle. Armie Hammer plays a US combat veteran.
So is this like Atomic Bomb versus Screaming Coughing Baby?
Oh, I mean,
he
I don't
his way through.
know what that means, but that sounds probably accurate, I think.
Okay.
I think that would be an accurate description of every debate that Mehdi Hassan ever has.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I watched this.
Bomb.
I watched him talk to this guy from the AFD the other day.
Yeah. I watched part of that, but I could not stand to finish it because the AFD guy is really just embarrassing himself.
But I mean, like, the thing, he's used to doing the thing that the really, the more clever of the Nazis do, where they're like able to kind of talk around their actual positions a little bit and kind of like appeal a little bit to a more moderate position, but still, not betray, what their people actually expect from them. But like Mehdi is not the guy to fucking do that with. Mehdi's not gonna fucking let you get away with that. So he was like, still, he'd like kind of weasel around a point, and he'd get him, pin him again. And like eventually he just started like, he would do this little smile, and it's like, you can tell, man, they're so fucking dishonest. Holy shit. I hate
yeah.
All right.
Yep, fascists are the worst. All right, I'm gonna press play again.
Europe, which is overrun by violent Muslim predators. The movie is reportedly banned in several countries for inciting violence against immigrants, but is nonetheless being catapulted to global fame by Elon Musk, who is already talking about funding a sequel.
Yeah, I saw it's number 2 on Amazon right now, or was last night. So that's
sure. That's not hard to game.
Yeah.
Also, wait, hasn't Critical Failure and Show No One Has Watched Rings of Power been number 2 on?
It's been number 1.
It's been number one. So
Rings of Power is according to Amazon, Rings of Power is their most watched show. And it drives more subscriptions than any other thing on their platform.
I've actually been seeing posts kind of randomly on Reddit and whatnot that are like, I started out, I thought that there was some legit problems with the show, and I still kind of don't like some stuff, but it's really grown on me. Like, basically, I've seen like 4 or 5 posts along that line.
So this is number 2, and that means it's a hit.
Yeah.
But Rings of Power is a flop, despite being okay. You know what? All right, that makes sense.
More of it. Yeah.
The truth is this: you are all being used.
The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should.
So I'm seeing the problem now. I had not seen anything from this fucking piece of shit until right now. I'm guessing that he's not really doing a substantive critique on the actual problems that create crime here.
Right.
And it's just, literally brown people, and then the people that let brown people be here.
Hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back.
Well, violent vigilante movies like Charles Bronson's Death Wish were a mainstay of cinema in the 70s and 80s. They tapped into very real concerns about urban decay and gang violence. Mixed-race street gangs and weak police were the bogeymen back then. Now it's Muslim migrants and the elites. Well, those movies had real-life consequences, inspiring unlawful copycat shootings, but also waves of tough-on-crime politics, and indeed Curtis Slewa's Guardian Angels. The question now is whether Citizen Vigilante is a legitimate expression of social anxiety and a rallying call for change, or simply racist slop written specifically to get Elon Musk's attention. Well, joining me to debate this is Mehdi Hassan, founder of Zateo News, who has called Citizen Vigilante 90 minutes of unabashed far-right political propaganda. And first, the film's director, UWE BOLL. Well, welcome.
Just for the record, I've learned recently that Mehdi Hassan he's not against the action film in general. He apparently loves like 80s and 90s, Jean-Claude Van Damme schlock and stuff like that, and watches them on a regular basis. He's seen all the crappy ones too, he said. So, how you doing, Uber comrade? Yeah, we're hanging out.
We're gonna watch this guy embarrass himself on England's 15th most watched
YouTube channel.
To both of you. Uber, let me just start with you. For those who've not seen the movie,
I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm glad that QR code's there right now. So look at that fucking ugly old baby.
And
it's
haven't
really
seen
a glow
any
up.
clips or anything. Just give me a little snapshot of what you believe it is and what it represents.
First of all, I see only myself. I don't see you guys. So I just talk it to the screen now. Okay. I thought that I maybe can see you guys. So, Citizen Vigilante is a reaction.
God damn it. It probably just went black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My screen just fucking flicked out. An asshole. It doesn't do that very much at all anymore, so I don't know what I did now, but I guess I will I gotta exit and come back. So
all right, I'll be out.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, let's see if I can play the screen.
No,
because it's not actually loaded up onto StreamYard. It's running locally. It just looks like it's. We can interact with the player, but we can't. The video is not actually on the StreamYard client.
Let's look it up on Wikipedia then, shall we?
What do we want to look up on Wikipedia?
I was reading the summary on Wikipedia, and there's something that the trailer leaves out. This is a spoiler for a movie none of you are going to watch, I'm sure. But Armie Hammer's character name is Sanders. And in the final scene, Sanders calls the hospitalized Henry, whoever that is, and tells him to inform the government that the public will not tolerate a takeover by the woke left and Islamist extremists who are seeking to destroy democracy. He warns that the government must stop it or the people will do so themselves.
Oh my God. Please.
So this is like basically just Death Wish in Europe, more or less, is what this looks like.
Yeah. So he's making a movie that's coming out. Looking at his Wikipedia, like filmography, he's put out some real stinkers. He's the Blood Rain movie guy.
Oh yeah, before you came on, I read out a list of every video game franchise this guy has destroyed by making a movie out of it. Like a movie so bad that people didn't know a movie was made out of that video game, like Far Cry.
Yeah.
And no one has attempted to redeem the franchises on film since then.
No. But he also has
how bad his movies are.
In pre-production, he's making 23 years later.
Yeah.
Because the 28 years was too many.
Yeah, he's a real great guy.
Wait, he did a Nightwish music video?
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Shut up,
Dan. Your volumes are really low.
Hello, and fucking welcome. Howdy. Can you hear me now?
Hey,
can you hear me?
there he is.
Much better.
The man, the myth, the Dane.
Oh, you no. So Oliver and I have been trying out. We adopted some new catchphrases basically. He started saying, "Hey, what's Chris Smizzlin?" or something. I don't think I say it right. Chris Smizzlin, something like that. And I started saying, "Let's fuck this taco."
No, you did not.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah. He knows words. That's fine.
You know what? Hi, Dane. How are you? Hey, Bob. How's it going? Just gonna move on.
I was trying to kill time while I found this video. Here we go.
Yeah. I think Grand Theft Autobot mentioning the new InfoWars. That's the real InfoWars, not Alex Jones's fake InfoWars.
What's the URL for that?
I think it's realinfowars.com.
I don't know the URL, but the @ on YouTube is Real InfoWars.
Yeah.
And I saw Tim Heidecker on the Majority Report earlier this week saying that they don't yet have the domain name for the original InfoWars, but they're going to get it. It's just like a bunch of paperwork having to be filed.
Yeah. The real InfoWars is very surrealist.
Yeah.
It's an experience that it's even when I'm not laughing, I'm glad it exists. It is the burning of an institution to keep me warm at night.
Yeah, I had a weird experience watching it because I could tell it was funny. Like,
yeah,
it's funny, but I wasn't laughing very much because
right.
I think it's the overall thing. The what they're actually doing is funny on like a deep, just like justice kind of level. You know what I mean?
There's not really punchlines. It's just like the entire thing is a farce.
Well, that's
right.
How familiar are you guys with Tim Heidecker's content on Adult Swim when he used to do that?
Not a ton, but I've seen some of it, and yeah, it's very much in the same.
I used to not like it. My friend Chris was like a big fan of like first Tom Goes to the Mayor was the first one they did, and then after that was Tim and Eric Awesome Show, great job.
Yeah,
which I did not care for because it just seemed so random and like I don't understand the point of this. But like in more recent years I've seen some of the stuff and I'm like, that's actually fucking funny. Like I guess I've refined my sense of humor or it's gotten bad. I don't know.
One of the two, right?
And so like there's some great stuff from Awesome Show, great job. Some legitimately hilarious sketches and stuff, and then just some stuff that like what the fuck were they smoking? What were they on? How did they decide this? One of the things that I learned that they did that made it so interesting is that they wouldn't cast like usually because they had like people like John C. Reilly was a regular on there.
Yeah.
Others, but like they would usually cast people just from Craigslist, just random people that weren't even necessarily trying to be an actor or whatever. They just like would grab random people and say, here, say this stuff. And it just gives it this fucking bizarre, surrealist kind of a quality to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a weird show.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Yeah. So like I'm not that familiar with Tim Heidecker's other work. So like I've never seen that show. So I did this might just be more in the vein of what he normally does, where it's not the Onion thing anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the InfoWars thing by the Onion, like I said, doesn't have any real punchlines. But the entire situation is ridiculous. And if you know Alex Jones's style and the InfoWars aesthetic that he had, it's like a pitch perfect parody of that. It's like almost just replicating it in almost every detail. They're not really making fun of it. They're just doing what Alex Jones did.
Well, I mean, because like basically, yeah. And to me, it seems like I've seen him do the bit. I haven't seen with the new stuff, but like from the last day or so. But like, it seems to me that the whole point is just, not for people that are familiar with it necessarily, but just like this is the legacy of it. It's like basically cauterizing it as being taken as seriously by anybody that might have seriously.
Yeah.
Which is it's a public service,
I agree. Yeah, and I think that's why the Sandy Hook families agreed to let them have it.
I mean, yeah.
So Heidecker did say on Majority Report that they've got some big things coming. That could just be, him talking out his butt for marketing. But
sure,
given who Tim Heidecker has worked with in the past, I'm sure that we're going to be seeing some like recognizable actors.
Yeah.
In the content playing roles and stuff. Like I found in this one, I found the opening segment, which is not Tim Heidecker, excuse me. it's some other parody of like, it's just a parody of like your standard two white guys having a podcast and talking about conspiracy theories. I found that a lot funnier, like laugh in a laugh out loud sense.
In a laugh out loud kind of way, yeah.
Than Tim Heidecker's bit as Alex Jones.
I think the thing that made me laugh out loud the most were the ads.
Yes, the ads are wonderful.
Is that like the one where turn piss into gold or whatever?
Yeah, and the ad, it starts with turn your piss into gold, and then they run some other segments, and then they come back to the same ad, and they've changed it to turn your gold into piss.
Okay. Yep. Because I thought that I was confused whenever I'd seen it, a little bit, and I felt like they had switched it, but I was like, maybe I just remember it wrong. But no,
the whole hog water thing, just like making fun of the whole supplement industry.
Yeah.
So another interesting thing about Tim Heidecker that a lot of people don't know, I think, he's actually a musician, singer, songwriter, and he has music out that is it's just music. It's not like comedy. It's just like
just a musician.
Yeah.
Cool.
Singing some cool folk songs and stuff. And that's kind of neat. He's a man of many talents. But of course, he made his name doing a specific type of thing, and this is one of those things right here. As soon as it loads, yeah.
The universe. What a concept. The universe is a little bit like the human hand. For example, you have Grauman's center right here, and then you have undiscovered worlds and Sector 8, and up here it's the Tillman's crest. So you can kind of picture that it's a little bit like a leaf or it's not a bowl.
If it would have not cut it out for that clip or whatever, there's that meme of him, the other guy doing the
right.
I think everybody's seen that.
Like, I didn't know that that's where that meme comes from.
Right.
Indeed, it is.
Should we get back to our real racist instead of our fake one, or should we keep talking about the fake one? Because I'm fine either way.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, first, let's try this.
All right, let's try this.
Your thing that I got. Yep. As soon as it loads, there we go.
Good morning, Paul. What will your first sequence of the day be?
Computer load up Celery Man, please.
Yes, Paul.
The fuck?
Could you kick up the
43D3 engaged. Sequence.
Give me a printout of Oyster smiling.
Okay.
Computer?
Yes.
Do we have any news sequences?
I have a beta sequence I've been working on. Would you like to see it?
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Paul. I'm Tane, your latest dancer. I can't wait to entertain you.
Now, Tane I can get into.
Fuck.
Could I see a hat wobble?
Yes.
And a bargain smell?
Yes.
Is there any way to generate a nude Tane?
Not computing. Please repeat.
Nude Tane.
This is not suitable for work. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh!
This is from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
This was the deleted
this is the quantum realm.
Yeah. It's weird it didn't connect with people. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, this is one of the many clips starring featuring a known actor from Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. A show that aired on Adult Swim in the 2000s.
Yeah, and this is content by the guy who's now running InfoWars or is now hosting InfoWars. So we can, I think, in the future, episodes of the new InfoWars, the real InfoWars, excuse me. I think we're going to see Paul Rudd playing a role. We're going to see John C. Reilly turning up.
I hope so.
I imagine,
other folks like that.
Yeah, this is that's how Ant-Man actually resolved the whole thing. Like he didn't know how to stop Kang, so he had Tane come out and do some hat wobbles and shit, and it was like Kang was like, I'm fucking out of here. You know?
And then he was canceled, and now Kang now works for real life supervillain.
Yeah. Oh my god. Speaking of real life supervillain, here's this fucking guy.
Spend $200 million to make that movies, and then they're promoting that movie.
Yeah, here we go.
UWE BOLL. Well, welcome to both of you. UWE, let me just start with you. For those who've not seen the movie and haven't seen any clips or anything, just give me a little snapshot of what you believe it is and what it represents.
But first of all, I see only myself. I don't see you guys. So I just talk it to the screen now. Okay. I thought that I maybe can see you guys. So, I mean, Citizen Vigilante is a reaction in a way to two different things. The one thing is two political correct films. You know, all these writers and diversity, whatever, as a filmmaker, I think we lost grip on movies we were used to. I grew up with Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, you know, Clockwork Orange, whatever. All these movies are not getting done anymore because there is like a woke police and algorithm and total bullshit going on. So that we have Supergirl and other crap, what nobody really wants to see, but they all go because they spend $200 million to make that movies, and then they're promoting that movies with $200 million. And I felt always, I did movies like Rampage, Postal, I did a lot of political incorrect movies, and I went, here you are, and now I see you. So I went in all political directions in the past, criticizing politics left and right. I did Darfur about genocide in Darfur. I did Auschwitz to make clear we should never forget the Holocaust. So, you know, that's the thing. And I'm so pissed, like furious about the migrant situation in Europe that I did first a movie named Run with Amanda Plummer, Barkat Abdi, what is in the US on Paramount Plus and Showtime, and also out on Prime in Europe, where I showed the boats coming in and the holiday island, and we follow different characters over the time. And there I showed not only empathy, I know that people want to have a better life and coming into Europe.
So this actually does kind of, I just realized this, but it does connect something that I was independently just kind of curious about and started researching the other day. That's a kind of a whole ass rabbit hole and a whole bucket of knots. So the plot of this, by the way, is Hammer plays Sanders, an American ex-soldier who has taken over his late father's property in Croatia. He is enraged by the way migrants are raping and murdering there. So using his colossal cache of weaponry, he sets out to kill them all, most especially a set of gang rapists, along with the whiny progressives in the judiciary who are letting them get away with it. So you probably have heard to some degree or another. I don't know how much anybody's learned about it, because I really hadn't. I just assumed it was not true. It's kind of not, but yeah, like with anything that the far right loves to talk about, there's elements of something real, and then they take it and they fucking, you know, blow it out of proportion. But
right.
What it actually is, what the far right always does, is they take statistics out of context, and they take statistics that do not tell a complete picture. And you know
what? No way.
The truth lies in the damn statistics thing, right? So the what do they call them? The basically gang rapes throughout Europe.
Yeah.
That's a thing I've seen said a lot, and you know, I'm not there. I don't know, and I, you know, I'm not one to be like, no, there's not rapes happening. You know, I'm not going to do that. But it did kind of strike me as, you know, the people that would often throw that out there, it seemed like, okay, really, you care about that? Is that what you're worried about? Anyway, so there, I don't know if you guys, have you looked into it at all?
In the last several years. The last time I looked at it probably would have been, I don't know, 2018.
That's what I was going to say. Not since people were complaining about it 10 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
Not that you shouldn't complain about gang rapes. They do happen. Sure. They happen everywhere in the world, unfortunately. But this guy, I was going to say, this guy's like 10 years too late with this grift?
Well,
I
you know,
mean,
it's
apparently
the
not, because the
10-year
far right,
nostalgia thing, right?
the far
Like
right seeing a surge in the UK right now, and in Europe in general. So it's maybe just the right time for that. I don't know. It seems to be pretty popular among the right over there. But yeah, so the thing is basically and I think the reason that you haven't heard about it as much lately, although it still pops up, is that more statistics have come out that kind of shut down the narratives built around some of the earlier studies that were done.
Let me guess. On a per capita basis, migrants commit less crimes overall, right?
Generally, that's the case. Yes, and
Yeah.
also they for one thing, they don't the crimes that they're looking at, the assaults that presumably did happen and are looking at, they're typically white girls, young white girls. They're not they because the assaults of, for instance, young Muslim girls or immigrants don't get taken as seriously. They don't get counted as part of statistics in many cases, or they weren't at that point. So it's just that's that, and then several other examples of how it just all breaks down, and you have to kind of ignore all these other things in order to make this narrative that it's just the Muslims that are coming. And it's like, also, like, they don't ever go, they'll report in the news, like fucking Guardian and shit will say that presumably the attacker was Muslim. It's like, they don't do that with Christians.
Never.
Not like this Christian man. Like, because if they did, it would look pretty bad. It would look bad.
It would look very
even
bad,
worse.
because most of them would be, because that's how math works.
Yep. So
because if you're reporting on the people who do crimes in England, most of them are Christian, because most of the people in the UK, well, maybe they're not Christian, but
they're not as Christian as we are.
Well, they're,
but
they're culturally
we
Christian.
are.
Yeah, like they're Christian in the sense that they were born into like a family. Like I'm a Catholic because I was born into a Catholic family, so I would be categorized as a Catholic, whether I'm a practicing believer or not. In that sense, yes, they're all like a Christian country.
Right, but also, like, there are people over there who are Muslim who are Catholic in that same.
Yeah,
my family is Muslim, but they haven't been to a mosque in years.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, there have been Muslims in Europe for over 1,000 years.
For as long as there have been Muslims.
Yeah, like large parts of Eastern Europe and Southern Russia have been, of white people, I should say, have been Muslim for centuries.
White people. I mean, no, wait, no, white people can't be Muslim. They're all, you have to be like brown to be Muslim, right? Isn't it? That's a rule, I think.
I mean, as far as the United States government was concerned, up until the 80s, Arabs were white.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I read a really fascinating article many years ago about how Arab Americans in the 1950s were well on their way to being just considered another type of white person.
Yep.
And then a concatenation of forces, including the U.S. growing closer with Israel. That was not the determining factor. That's just
it was one of the many factors. Yeah.
Led to Arab Americans not being classified as white anymore.
Yep. They lost their whiteness because it's not a real thing.
I want to read what this is actually the Guardian here. That's the review that I pulled up about this movie, and this is the last little paragraph here. Says citizen vigilante perhaps wants to be Michael Winner's Death Wish, or Don Siegel's Dirty Harry, or Scorsese's Taxi Driver. I think he just named all those.
He did.
But these were films with variously measures of passion, style, wit, purpose, vision, and competent production values. They employed actors who knew how to do the job of acting. And crucially, they were about America, not this wokester pinata of Europe. If Boll want to make and promote, well, okay, there's an error there. Make a film about an establishment stitch-up, then why not a hard-hitting film about the relationship of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump?
Whoops.
Meanwhile,
one thing I'd like to point out about those movies, particularly Raging Bull, to a lesser extent the other ones as well. I guess Death Wish would not be included in this, but Taxi Driver is what I meant to say. Taxi Driver, you're not supposed to root for the main character.
No.
Right.
He is the bad guy.
What? No way.
He kind of accidentally ends up doing the right thing at the end. You know what I mean? But because just in the moment, he's like, oh, I guess I won't do the. Or he kills fucking pimp and like. Anyway, I remember seeing that movie and being like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, and that's I guess a benefit to it. That's a plus is that it doesn't.
Right. That's part of the movie.
Is like that he's completely going down a fucking terrible path throughout most of the movie, and he's making really bad choices about being isolated and angry and shit. And then because he seemingly wants to hook up with a 14-year-old sex worker, he goes to save her from the pimp, and then he gets shot and killed in the process. And it's like he accidentally gets to die a hero,
Right.
That's Jodie Foster, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That I believe is the performance by her that inspired one Mr. Hinckley to try to kill
friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Beloved musician John Hinckley.
I knew you were going to say that.
Celebrated singer-songwriter. Yeah.
God. I hope he's doing all right. I hope he's doing all right. Seriously.
I hope John's doing okay.
But like all these movies that this guy cites as being culturally transgressive were culturally transgressive because they were films about characters that you're not really supposed to identify with as the viewer. I mean, you're supposed to be interested in them.
Well,
but you're not supposed to want to be them. And this guy's making a movie where he wants you to aspire to be.
In very much the same way, like I talked about in my Punisher videos, that the Punisher was inspired by the reason he was created was to, comic books would often respond to trends in film, right? So like Punisher was created in the 70s to respond to things like Death Wish, which is of all of the things that are named here is the shittiest one. That's like the most kind of like this one, I think, because I don't know that they had any kind of real point. Maybe they did. I haven't really seen it. I just know that I've seen videos about some of the sequels, and those are just straight up garbage. Just Charles Bronson just killing brown people and shit. Nonetheless, those movies were about the system itself, and they're not meant to say here's how to solve the problems of this system. It's like here is basically there's the problems in the system, and then they will inevitably create this type of alienated character or whatever, or this kind of I don't know, layers of violence or whatever. And it's like, that's meant to draw attention to the whole thing, the whole actual system, not just some politicians that you don't like because they're I don't know,
whatever woke means this minute.
I think it's kind of interesting that this came out the same week that the Supreme Court said, hey, actually, birthright citizenship is not something that we can just kind of flick out of the fucking Constitution. I don't know. I'm not saying it's on purpose, but it is kind of interesting.
It's absolutely not on purpose. It is totally a coincidence.
Right.
But
I'm not trying to suggest
for sure.
Serendipitous. It's weird. So apparently the thing with Armie Hammer, by the way, is that he where is it? Okay, so he was his reputation plummeted after allegations of sexual assault by former partners in 2021. Relationships that Hammer has maintained were consensual. If they're saying that it wasn't, then it most likely wasn't, my dude. Even if I would have been willing to give him some, deference of like, well, we don't know for sure, you know what I mean? You make a movie like this, and I kind of just assume that, no, you're all of the piece of shit that people have said you are.
Yeah.
Right. And then some.
All right, let's go.
And I'm not against it. I'm not religious. I'm not against any, I have Muslim friends and everything. I'm not against Muslims. I'm against.
He did the thing.
He did the thing, guys. He did the thing.
Literally, Betty was just going after that AFD guy about the same thing. The AFD guy was like, "Oh, one of these guys, they're married to where he's from Sri Lanka or something, and she looks like Sri Lankan." He said.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at Mehdi's face here. He's like, this is Mehdi Hassan rearranging his mental notes, going, "Oh, oh, he's going to make it this easy on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I don't have to like. I can kind of check out now.
He's like, I've got to dumb down what I was going to say even more than I thought I was going to have to. Jesus.
Right.
Uncontrolled migration, where people, for example, in Germany are not even allowed to work. Then the resentment in the population grows. Then you have also people just being bored because they're not working. So the integration sucks. Now they're turning into crime and or also random crime, as we see with these rapes, with the knife stabbings. That's not like individual little cases. They're all over Europe, into the thousands every year. And I think that doesn't work. You know, if you let people in a country, I think these people need to get properly integrated and not like, okay, we let them in and then all the communities are completely overloaded with them and it all ends in a disaster.
Okay.
So,
I mean, look, just obviously a lot of people have taken grave exception to this movie. Todd Gilchrist of Variety called the film a violent, incoherent, morally bankrupt slice of exploitation, saying it's so astonishingly bad, it felt like Boll is deliberately sabotaging his star. Rod Dreher of the American Conservative.
That's what this thing says, something like that as well. The Guardian, it says, it's pretty funny.
Okay, if that's true though, like that's how, like I want to be in that industry, right? I want to be like the shit director who like convinces bigots to do movies so I can just make them look bad. Like, how do I get that job?
Yeah. Essentially this review says the same thing. So I mean, I guess, you know, that's a vibe that people get from this movie is like, oh, why? Oh, he's what, does he not like Armie Hammer or something? Why did he get him to do this?
Right.
Is it did he sexually assault UWE BOLL's daughter or something? What? I have a trans, gay, black, disabled friend. So, well, yeah. I mean, I've got probably one of each of those at least. I'm you know, you got to catch them all, but like,
maybe even on this very stream.
Yeah.
Some of them, yeah. None of us are black, so I guess that's.
By the way, if you are just now tuning in, welcome. The QR code in front of UWE BOLL's face is leads to a GoFundMe that my family and I are in a pretty a little bit of a dire situation in that we're having to move much sooner than we expected to, so we were not prepared as far as saving up for moving costs, and we need as much help as possible. So even if you can just share that would be fantastic. We appreciate that very much as well, and you're lovely people. And yeah, if you've been around long enough, you know that I don't make it a habit of asking for money, and I wasn't even monetized for like 3 years total. But in this regard, I don't know what else to do, and I know everybody's having a hard time, so definitely don't do anything that takes anything from yourself, like necessities or whatever. But if you do have a few extra doll hairs, throwing them our way would be fantastic. You would be helping out me, my partner Jen, our son Oliver, 11. Which I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe have him come on here and do something or say hi later or something like that. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
And then also our 2 corgis and our cat Gordy.
Gordy, hear our prayers.
Drop a link in the chat again.
Indeed.
Yeah, you should do that too, because that's easier to share out than the QR code. I was just gonna say that.
True. Here we go.
Meanwhile,
yeah, go ahead.
Benny Hassan is ready to go, man. Look at him; he's just ready. He's like, please shut the fuck up so I can destroy this guy.
Hit play whenever y'all are ready.
All right, I will hit play.
Magazine called it a fascist film. What do you say to those who have really, got very angry about this and believe that you're inciting violence against Muslims?
No, I don't. I think the film is also a warning. You need to listen to your own population. We cannot have like this kind of, first of all, to these reviewers, I can say they always trashed my movies. They just hate me because I'm not like this kind of filmmaker who bends over to this system, to the Hollywood system.
Yeah, that's
40 independent movies, but with big stars and Oscar winners from Ben Kingsley, Jason Statham, whatever, J.K. Simmons. So they don't like me. That establishment doesn't like me because I make movies like straight in your face. So, And as I said, I did that in various movies. The Sound on Wall Street. Again.
Quentin Tarantino makes movies straight in your face, I suppose you could say.
Yeah,
lots of them. There are
Straight in your feet. Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to make them gay in your face, are you? I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. I might.
We
Anyway,
make this show gay in your face.
Yeah, we try to for sure. But like, yeah. So I mean, it's just that's such a fucking bullshit, goddamn justification cope of like, and it's the same exact thing that these motherfuckers always do. I was watching a video clip earlier of Tony Hinchcliffe on Joe Rogan's podcast, and it was filmed after the release of his fucking Hinchcliffe's terrible, just like universally panned, some say the worst stand-up special ever on Netflix. And from what I've seen, it is truly, truly bad. And not like bad, like all his jokes are just not funny. It's like he didn't even try. Like the only thing he did was just, very, bog standard old fucking stereotypes, racial stereotypes and stuff. Anyway, but for one thing, they don't even mention the special specifically, but it was filmed after this. But they talk about, just generally, they're talking about how people, they don't like him now because some people don't like once you get to a certain level of fame and you're saying, controversial things. It's just jokes though. People don't believe everything that somebody says, like in a song or whatever in a movie. They don't think that that's who they are, but you make a joke, people, and it's just this fucking cope. That's all they do is fucking cope. They can't handle the fact that people just don't fucking like them. Look,
there's this thing called, when it comes to just joking, called delivery.
Yeah.
And if your delivery is good, you can say pretty much whatever the fuck you want.
If you present it in the right way, like the whole, Jeselnik's talked about this, that like if you don't want to get canceled or whatever the fuck, you don't want people to criticize you, then make the joke funny, like, or don't do it. But then also when you're Tony Hinchcliffe and as they talk about in that, they're like, oh, just because we say something doesn't mean we believe that. And it's like, no, that's not really something that I wouldn't assume that they believe that. Except, for example, Tony Hinchcliffe literally did the Nazi rally before the election in 2024.
Right, he was literally at the Nazi rerun rally.
Yep, Madison Square Garden, just like 34 all over again or whatever.
Yep.
And
it's
what context does matter, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the context of your actual life, your public behavior outside of being a stand-up comedian is the tell. Like George Carlin, for example, said far more offensive things.
Oh, yeah.
The time, but in his outside the realm of being a stand-up comedian, he was very socially progressive, and he would criticize other comedians' humor for punching down instead of punching up. For instance, just if you look at the man's life and the causes he stood up for, that's a contrast to the comedy that he did. So you knew that his comedy wasn't necessarily what he actually believed. He was making a broader point with the stuff that he was saying.
But that's,
I guess Tony Hinchcliffe is making a broader point too. It's just that his point sucks.
Yeah, it's his point is that he wasn't funny with the first kind of version of himself that he put out there in 2016, where he literally has erased that first special off of the internet apparently. But I've seen some clips from it. It is bad, but he's not being edgy in that. He's just kind of trying to tell jokes, and they aren't good. You can tell that the guy, well, I mean, I guess, benefit of hindsight, I might not assume based on this first special being that terrible that he just doesn't have it, but I do think now, based on what I've seen since then, and then that special, he is just not meant to be a comedian. He's not fucking funny. He has zero riz. He's so that he's just now occupying this fucking lane where it's like, oh, if I just say this edgy stuff that at least gets a reaction, that I can then fucking manipulate the narrative and say that reaction's about them, just I'm too edgy for them, I'm too hot or whatever. And
He does not pass the Blazing Saddles test, right?
No.
That's what I call it. I've just decided to call it that just now.
First person
Blazing Saddles test would be, does your use of the N-word in a joke make fun of racism, or is it just racist?
Right.
That's the test.
Because racists think that they don't realize that the N-word in that movie, they just watch it and they like hearing somebody say it. They like, hey, I love hearing white people say that word. That's great.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
These motherfuckers.
But they don't know. They don't understand why, and they don't realize they're the butt of the joke. Actually.
I just want to see a little bit of Mehdi just kind of tearing into this guy, and then
Yeah, I want to see it. I want,
Bankers
that's what I'm all
2008.
lubed up for.
And so for me, it's not a question about left or right. You know, I'm not a member in a political party or something. I felt furious about the ignorance in Germany specifically also about real crime, and then people are getting away with it. They go like probation, they go 10 months in jail for
probation is not getting away with it.
So yeah, that is the opposite of getting away with it. What are you talking
literally
about?
It is a punishment. You have several restrictions, and honestly, I've been on probation, and it is. I mean, I'm not going to say it's as bad as jail, because I was in jail for like 2 days once, and that was pretty bad. It's not made to be liked, folks. But probation sucks in its own way, because, you know, when you're, especially I was a young guy, I was like 19 when I was on probation. I liked to smoke weed, couldn't smoke weed unless I wanted to risk, you know, going to jail.
More jail time.
Yeah. Things like that. And it sucks when you're, you know, a young fella and you're working hard. I was working hard, delivering pizza and stuff like that. And then I just wanted to hang out with my buddies and play music and smoke some weed. And basically, anytime I would see a cop, you know, I was out driving or something, I would see a cop anywhere, even if he wasn't near me, but he's just across the street or whatever, I would fucking start having a panic attack. And that happened the entire time I was on probation. I was just constantly freaking out. And it's not a great way to live, and it makes you think about things. I'm not going to say that it's going to make you not do those crimes anymore, but it did for me. So, you know, anyway, I didn't get any more fights after that at this point.
Rapes and knife stabbings, it's insane. You need to enforce the law, and you need the citizens of a country that need to be safe, you know. And
okay,
you know, all this movie reviews, I don't really take them serious.
Okay, well, let me bring in Mehdi Asal. Mehdi, welcome back to Uncensored. You know, look, there are myriad movies which are very violent and involve different groups being targeted by psychopaths and killers and so on. What makes this, in your eyes, what makes this different and unacceptable?
Yeah, great question. And a lot's been said, so let me try and answer that and respond to what Uwe Boll has been saying. A couple of things. Number one, I like a good revenge thriller. I like action films. I like low-budget films as well. I love a Jason Statham movie, a Liam Neeson movie, even Steven Seagal. But this is not that. Okay. This is certainly not a Taxi Driver.
Mehdi, I can't go with you down that road, man.
Where you're going, I cannot follow.
I will meet him halfway. Like the first 4 or 5 movies Seagal made are pretty solid.
Okay.
Before he went totally.
I liked him a lot in Executive Decision.
Yes, I was going to say that was the turning point where he finally died in a movie. Yep. I think that broke him. After that, he went a little bit nuts.
I think that's when he started making the you know, the writer in his contract or whatever that's like, I can't lose. Basically, he has it in his contract.
In his contract, he can't lose.
Simply doesn't lose in a movie. Yeah.
I also have a thing in my contract I can't lose in movies. I am undefeated in every movie fight I've ever been in.
Oh, I thought you were just saying like in a contract with life, basically. In your existence contract, you just can't lose.
I'm trans. I'm not allowed to have that clause in my contract.
Damn it.
I lose every
minutes of my life
term.
I'll never get back. It's not a good film. You mentioned the Variety review. They said astonishingly bad. I would add comically bad. It's just an awful film with no real.
Sorry. Yeah, the Will Sasso stuff was pretty great for sure. He did do a good Seagal back in the day.
Plot line, and the dialogue is awful, and the action is awful, and the explosions are bad. But I'm not here to be a film reviewer. Uwe has already said film critics don't like him. They've called him the world's worst director. That's not my thing. I'm not a film critic. I'm not here to give my opinions on the aesthetics of the film. I am worried about what the film says and what message it sends and who's promoting it. Elon Musk. I wouldn't be sitting here, Piers, talking about this film. You wouldn't be doing this.
So I have here a screenshot of Musk saying something promoting this movie.
I really appreciate that. With the one thing X has done that I really appreciate is that when Elon Musk tweets, you can smell the tweet now.
Well, hold your nose, because so here is you know, I don't know who this original poster is, but we can take a guess at what they're all about because they're called Inevitable West. Director of Citizen Vigilante UWE BOLL. If it were 6 neo-Nazis raping a migrant woman in the film, it would have been the opening film of Berlinale. Berlinale? I don't know what that is. Is that like a film festival, I guess?
Yeah, it's
Probably.
it's like the
Bob?
Bob muted. Oh, did I accidentally mute you? I think I did. My bad.
Oh, canceling Bob now.
Oh, no, you muted yourself. There you go.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Don't mute yourself while you're talking, Bob.
I didn't mean to. I think anyway.
I'm joking. Sorry.
Continue without me. Just go on.
No. Please.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Berlinale, as far as I know, is like the Cannes Film Festival, except for Germany.
That makes
sense.
It's like the most prestigious film festival in Germany.
Well, and then Elon Musk says, "True," you know, at one of his poignant, you know, fucking just like the mind of a brilliant genius, you know, it shines through in just like one word.
Yeah, the system does not want to hear my speech. I've been suppressed. The woke left and the Islamic extremists decided to shut me up there.
The woke Hollywood, they've been icing, you know, fucking UWE BOLL out forever. You know, there's we talked about him on stream the other day. I mentioned this guy. I forget his name, but he's made a couple of movies that I thought were pretty good, even though they very clearly have varying degrees of like conservative perspective to them.
Sure.
That's I forget his name, but he did Bone Tomahawk, which is fucking a pretty gnarly ass movie.
Oh, Dallas Saunier.
Yeah. And
he's
then,
one of the producers of the Pendragon Cycle, by the way.
Oh.
Which is why the Pendragon Cycle doesn't totally suck. I would argue.
Yeah.
It's because of him.
And then also Brawl and Cell Block 99, which is actually I mean it's very, very obviously like written by a goddamn conservative. And it treats the you know, the Hispanic gang member characters in it like you would expect a conservative to. And yet, I mean, it's just kind of an entertaining movie.
Right.
What's the name? Goddamn Vince Vaughn is pretty brutal in that.
That's a point I've made before, is that the whole grift of guys like UWE BOLL and the rest of them, this whole claim that they base their grift on, that Hollywood is so hostile to conservatives that conservatives have to go off and start their own entertainment ecosystem, is just total bullshit. Like, there's tons of conservatives working in Hollywood. Some of them are even making movies that are good. I mean, I would argue that most of Mel Gibson's movies that he's been the director of are good movies, despite his politics. Clint Eastwood makes awesome movies.
I mean, you know, Michael Bay. I'm not going to say he's making awesome movies all the time, but he has made a couple that I thought were pretty good. And for the most part, I don't know. Yeah, he's basically just a neocon. Yeah, you know.
Right. The problem. So the problem isn't that Hollywood is hostile to conservatives. The problem is that Hollywood is hostile to people who do not have talent.
Yep.
You're right.
Or at least the relevant talents needed to succeed within their business.
And that's the crazy thing about this guy too, is like I said it already earlier, but like he is like any other fucking right winger that has some level of, you know, notoriety or success or whatever. Despite all of their failures prior to that, they somehow are convinced that it's meritocracy that has gotten them where they are. Just, you know, even after failure after failure, fucking multiple films that did not make any money or cost investors some money, but because he knew how to game the system. Same thing as Trump said in that goddamn debate in 2015, right? Whenever they said something about, you know, you don't pay taxes or whatever, and he's like, I just, you know, that means I'm smart. I know how to game the system. It's like, okay, but like you're not playing the game in the way that other people do. You suck.
Don't tell him that. He'll be upset.
Oh God. Yeah. That fucking fake baby. That is crazy.
Oh.
That is a crazy thing.
I'm not going to defend American Sniper.
Mm-hmm. Well, why would
but
you?
It's better than any UWE BOLL movie.
Yeah.
I would say like American Sniper is probably the worst movie that Clint Eastwood has ever made. I can't think of one he directed that was worse, but it's still pretty good as a film. If you look at it as a piece of technical film craft, it's still a good movie.
Okay.
I can see that.
Good to know. I will have to not seek that out. No, I've seen goddamn clips with the fake baby, and I was like, okay, I can't. I would not be able to. I'd be waiting for the fake baby the whole time.
Did you want them to use a real baby?
No, I would want them to film the scene with the baby without showing that it's a fake baby.
Yeah.
That's that's what you got to do. Same thing we were talking about Drinkers bullshit new movie the other day or yesterday or whatever, where it's like they're showing the waterboarding from so many angles and that you can see that they're not actually waterboarding her. Not that I want her to be waterboarded, but you shoot it in a way like obscure the camera with the guy doing the waterboarding so you don't see that her face is not in the optimal position for waterboarding. And look, I know the optimal position for waterboarding. Okay, that wasn't it.
Yeah, but they can't show you the what waterboarding actually looks like without actually waterboarding someone. That's the problem.
Right.
I know.
But you're right. There are ways to stage it and frame it on the screen to fake it, because most people don't know what actual waterboarding looks like. So it doesn't have to be accurate.
Right.
It just has to be consistent and plausible. Yeah.
If you guys want to hit play, you can. I've got a window open. I'm looking for something, so feel free to.
Sure, we can. Can I?
I didn't write a Guardian article about it if it wasn't for Elon Musk. With the greatest of respect to Uwe Boll, he makes a lot of films. We're talking about this one because Elon Musk amplified it to 240 million people on X, on Twitter. He promoted it. He says he might fund a sequel.
And took it to number one in digital purchase charts on Apple and Amazon. So it's made it a big hit, which is great. Great, of course, for Uwe Boll, but not necessarily if you don't like the movie.
So it's not about whether you like the movie or not. Why is Elon Musk promoting it, Piers? That is the question I want to answer. And then you get into the content of the film and the messaging is far-right propaganda. It is anti-Muslim. I'm glad Uwe Boll has Muslim friends, but this is a fundamentally anti-migrant, anti-Muslim film. This is a film which begins in Europe. It just says Europe blankly because it plays into this American right-wing stereotype, Piers, that you've tried to push back against on your show, that a lot of right-wing Americans think Europe is some crime-ridden, immigrant-infested, violent dystopia, when in fact the United States has a higher violent crime rate, higher murder rate than every single member state of the EU. Uwe filmed the film in Croatia, I believe, which is one of the safest places in the world. I think they only had like 23 murders in 2023. So let's just deal with this moral panic about crime, about immigrant crime. And then the film itself, it does advocate for vigilantism. The guy in it, Michael Sanders, the protagonist played by Armie Hammer, he murders an entire migrant family in cold blood at the end of the movie. Sorry to do a spoiler, but it's all over the internet. These are the clips that are being promoted on Twitter by Elon Musk's acolytes. They're gleefully sharing a clip of a guy murdering a father, mother, son, and daughter because the son apparently is a rapist. So he kills the entire family. I mean, that is an insane message to send in a film. Not just to send in a film, and I know I've seen an interview Uwe did where he said he doesn't support that scene. He put it in there to shock us, which is his right as an artist. But that's not how it's being used online, Piers. It's being promoted online. When Elon Musk, Piers, is sharing, he's retweeting people saying this is the moderate response. That's what he retweeted. The moderate response to murder an entire family. He retweeted another guy who said, hang the traitors first, i.e. the white judges, which is what the guy in the movie does, and then kill the invaders or kill the criminals. I mean, this is insane rhetoric for the richest man in the world, the most followed man in the world to be doing.
Speaking of which, I just happened to remember that I'd seen this the other day. I don't get on Twitter very much at all, but it's amazing how when you do, you can pretty quickly see something that's like, holy shit. And this is what I saw. Retweet from Elon Musk. Somebody had said, I asked why the world's richest man, Elon Musk, spends his days, doing in the culture war instead of enjoying his billions on a beach. Nothing else matters if civilization falls. So he thinks what he's doing is preventing the fall of civilization, which is just Nazi rhetoric, for one thing.
If nothing else, if we're going to have a fall of civilization, it's going to be because of things like climate change. And
so this is that really puts a fine point on what the billionaire grift is, or at least what his is. it's literally pretending to be the hero when you are the guy that is in large part responsible for the problems that are going on, you know.
Right. And by civilization he means Western civilization. Right. And I would
and
argue that nothing
by that he means
discredited
white Western European,
right,
some version of America. Like what actually
Yes.
counts as the West to them is about half a dozen places.
Yeah.
Right. But nothing has discredited the concept of Western civilization in the last 25 years more than the Donald Trump presidency.
It's true.
These people like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, JD Vance, the rest of these clowns, they are the ones who have dragged down the reputation of Western civilization and destabilized the global order that nurtured Western civilization since the end of World War II. It's these guys.
Yep.
True fact.
Whether you support Western civilization or not.
Right. I mean, I've
of
argued
the fall.
on this channel before that I don't think Western civilization is a coherent thing that has existed for longer than the end of World War II.
Yep. I mean, well, that being said, here's this.
Uh-oh.
Pumpers like to pump. Pumpers need to pump. Pumpers be pumping. Let's pump us. Let's pump. Pumpers pump, 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 pumpers pump, pump. Let's pump. Pumpers pump, 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 pumpers pump, pump. Let's
Sorry, I needed to lighten up. All right, back to Mehdi-san.
Okay.
What's up? Sorry.
No, go ahead. If we're going back to Mehdi, we'll go back to Mehdi.
Yeah, just a couple more minutes here. And we're not going to watch the whole thing.
I should add, when Muslims and migrants are being attacked in Scotland, in England, in America, in a mosque in San Diego, in Germany, right? There are attacks on Muslims and migrants happening every day. I don't think we need this kind of messaging amplified by Elon Musk at a time when there is massive civil disturbance already. It's just incitement. I'm sorry.
I mean, Uwe says the movie's been effectively banned in his own home country of Germany. But in a recent interview, he said if it was 6 neo-Nazis raping a migrant woman in the film, it would have been the opening film at the Berlin Film Festival. You know, in other words, he says there's a lot of hypocrisy around this.
Weird how he laughs at that. What's funny about that, man? Like,
so
it's because he knows it's not true.
Yeah. German film censorship and film law is very specific.
Yeah, and
if
also,
you're familiar with video games and what gets censored in Germany and like the European version versus the German version of a major video game, like
yeah, they still are taking some accountability and responsibility for the whole Holocaust thing.
Right. They may have done a Holocaust.
It's not even that. It's not even any of that. It's just the fact that he knows his movie is garbage, and that if he changed if he reversed the victim and murderer dynamic in that movie and kept everything else the same, no, it would not be the opening film of the Berlin Film Festival because it still sucks.
It still
and he
sucks.
knows it.
Right.
That's why he's laughing.
He's a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the thing with the boxing thing. When he wanted to box his critics, it was just to be a troll.
He's the kind of guy that like any just any troll that just common troll on Twitter or whatever that's got 100 followers and following 3,000 people on the opposite end of the ideological spectrum. Same fucking thing where it's like they mistake or they intentionally, I don't know, they tell themselves that just getting a reaction is validation in itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't matter what the reaction is. In fact, just the bigger the reaction, the more
the better
valid they are for whatever they've done.
Absolutely.
Just fucking sniffing their own farts all day long.
I mean, the other point that a lot of people have made on the hypocrisy front is that, of course, one battle after another recently won 6 Oscars, including Best Film at last year's Academy Awards. And that's been described as an Antifa wet.
In that movie, which is pretty good, by the way, the inciting incident toward the beginning that causes the woman that is Leonardo DiCaprio's his
love interest,
that she gets pregnant and they have baby, and then she continues to do these actions, these radical leftist actions that are pretty like holy shit, they're doing some crazy shit. But the thing that stops everything, like you can basically needle record scratch, and then everything changes, is she kills one person, which she was not supposed to do, and was just like, it was a mistake, and she did it kind of in the moment, like freaking out, and that basically causes the hammer to come down on them. They start getting arrested and shot and shit like that, and he has to go, take the kid and go out and on the run in hiding. Because the movie is very explicitly saying, like, killing people is still bad.
Killing people is bad, yeah. There's a difference between property crimes and criming on a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are different things.
Dream without any of this outrage. So why is it, Mehdi, that the outrage seems to be massively amplified for this because of the theme?
Maybe I can also say something in between, but it's okay.
Well, I'll let Mehdi respond, then I'll come back to you, Uwe.
Okay, good.
Okay. Mehdi.
So first of all, I know we won't get into difference between the quality of films. As I say, I'm not here for the.
It's not about quality, though, is it?
You cannot point to me. Yeah, exactly. So let's put aside the quality of a Leonardo DiCaprio Oscar-winning film and this film, but in terms of you can't point to me, Piers, a political figure or a public figure on the liberal left who has advocated for or glorified or amplified messaging to murder entire families. Piers, I've watched multiple segments on your show where you've rightly got upset with people for defending Luigi Mangione, right? I thought we were against vigilantism. I thought we were against murdering people who haven't been convicted in a court of law. That's what I'm against. I can't speak.
Yeah, on officially on the record, as a position of these content creators and these channels, we are very much against that.
Yeah.
Also,
Luigi, yay!
Free Luigi.
Speak for others, but I'm consistently against political violence. And at a time when migrants are being demonized, dehumanized, when there's massive attacks on Muslims across the continent. As I say, there was just an attack in Scotland where the guy has been charged with terrorist-related offenses. There was an attack in San Diego where 3 Muslims were murdered in a mosque by 2 neo-Nazis who left a manifesto behind saying they wanted to wipe out Muslims and invaders, etc. This language, in the film, they blame the Quran for rapes. The character rants about, the worst immigrants coming into the country. It's just one evil, bad migrant after another. And that's a real problem. Again, Piers, look at the reaction to this film. It's not. I'm not saying Uwe Boll is a racist.
But I would say,
I'm not saying his intent was racist.
On the reaction.
I'm saying, hold on, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
The reaction is people all over social media, Piers, glorifying the violent message of this film.
Well,
and if I had made that film, I would be wondering, wow, that is not the message I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I will ask that question of Uwe. I want to play a clip. This is Patrick Bet-David. He's a right-wing commentator. Let's see what he said about it.
The movie's going to inspire a lot of people to do this. I'm telling you right now, this is one of the darkest movies I've seen that's going to inspire actual vigilantes who are sick of it in Europe. Like, here's Tommy Robinson. I think this level of guys is going to show up.
Yeah.
Not Tommy. Because the next level guys are going to be like, okay, you want to do this? We'll take it ourselves. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We got it. You wanted, like, back in the days in New York City when the mob would say, what did you do to one of our girls?
Yeah.
You did that? Don't worry about the cops.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the state. Don't worry about the federal. Worry about the Gambino family. Worry about, I think, that level of chaos has shown up to Europe.
Now, Uwe, the problem I would have with that is
I pause this?
I know Patrick.
Okay, so except that these crimes, these vigilantes aren't going to go after anyone who's actually done anything. They're just going to find the first brown person they see and hate crime them, because it's not about protecting a girl. It never is. It's about being violent to someone.
Well, I don't know Patrick Bet-David's content very well, but I thought that was his point. Because when you make it about the mafia, what you're saying is that they don't go after the person responsible either. They go after his family who didn't do anything. Right. I thought that was the point the guy was making. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it was that I thought the point he was making was that these vigilantes were gonna go after the people who hurt the girl.
But he cited the example of the Gambino family, who don't go after only the person who hurt the girl. They go after
They hit your family and your dog
your wife,
stuff,
your kid, your pet.
Right.
So I thought that was the point he was making.
Maybe. Anyways, we can continue.
Well, he's reflecting a view that, as Mehdi said, a lot of people have said online from the conservative right. Elon Musk has been promoting this, saying this is what people want to see. The audience wants real films again. And the story line that Mehdi referenced there in the film's climax, where Armie Hammer's character, executes an entire Syrian refugee family while delivering this kind of self-righteous political monologue about the need for justice. You put it all together, and because of Elon Musk amplifying this to over 200 million people so aggressively, there is a real possibility, is there not, that people will do what Patrick Bet-David said, that they will seek to take the law into their own hands. They will seek vigilante justice. Would you be comfortable if that starts to happen?
Of course not. But the reality is, I have to interfere. You talked a long time. It's like so. First of all, I think we both want a peaceful life for everybody, no matter what religion, skin color. But the reality is also that, like how Mehdi here said, is he completely omits the other side. Yeah, migrants got attacked, but also other people got attacked from migrants. And unfortunately, way more. And not because of it has nothing to do with the religion, actually. Yeah. It has to do with the way they grew up in the countries they came from. They may be in war zones. They like this kind of, like they have very harsher sentencing. They are more used to violence. We have more traumatized people running around. And for me, the question is why we should have a security risk for our own population in having a lot of people kind of unvetted, like out of very hard circumstances coming in, and then they do this random stabbings. What happens
if somebody? What happens? Hang on.
Bleeded out.
Uwe, let me jump in. What happens if somebody does watch your movie because Elon Musk has told them to, and it's got you a massively bigger audience than it would have done otherwise because Elon has done that? What happens, if somebody does take the law into their own hands and they go and murder a refugee
if
family?
If you make a movie, you do the movie the way you want it, and whatever the consequences are, people are not flipping out and killing because of movies or video games. That subject matter is closed scientifically for tens of years. So if people getting violent or Belfast or something like this happens, right? That happens because other things happened before. Also, then the media doesn't talk about it, that there was that guy trying to chop a head off a guy. So if this stuff or the Novak case,
Uwe, can I ask you this, Uwe?
You don't have to, wait 1 second, only one finishing the line. So, if this happens and then people flipping out and attacking the migrant home, there are innocent people in the migrant home, and that is not what I want, but it's not coming from nothing.
So I've just been doing a little looking around just to kind of see what kind of takes I can see on this, and I'm kind of surprised a little bit. First of all, Alan Ng from the other guy that's always on Film Threat with Chris Gore, he kind of he reviewed it mostly, kind of positive, but he does say that there are parts that go farther than he's comfortable with, and that you can't stay on board with them if you have any kind of morality, throughout the whole movie or whatever. He does compare it to one battle after another, and basically implies that if you're on the left, you're going to think that that's a great movie. If you're on the right, you're going to think this is a great movie, as if they're equal in some quality and execution somehow. But then there's a lot of right wingers that are just straight up saying this is a bold movie, it's courageous, it's really prescient, but also the movie sucks. So they're just chuds are even saying this is a shit ass movie. It's kind of cool that he's saying the Nazi stuff that we want to hear, or he's making, and then also that people are calling it a revenge film, which I don't know for sure, but I don't feel like I've heard anything about this being anything like that. It's not a revenge film if the guy's not getting revenge. If he's just going on a murder spree to murder people because he feels that justice is not being done or whatever the fuck, that's one thing, but it's not revenge. Revenge is literally, it's personal.
Right.
So
yeah, Supergirl is a revenge film.
Yeah.
This is not, as far as I can tell.
I think people feel alone. They feel unprotected. They're furious with the law in England, where you get arrested, whatever. When you say Starmer is a wanker or whatever, then you get arrested. But you cannot even say your own opinion. That's Germany the same. That's a big.
What? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's been constant. Like, hate crimes are fucking, especially in the last couple of years, have gone back up.
Yeah.
But in fact, actually in the US, we don't really know. And we probably might not really ever know what the actual numbers are because, this administration happened to just kind of throw all the mechanisms for counting all those out the window. So, yeah, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, now the only place to find hate crime statistics for the US are states that do it independently, which is few and far between because we have an FBI for that. Or the Wayback Machine to look at the federal statistics from the last time they were posted in, I want to say 2023.
Exactly, Grant. I thought about that's basically what they're saying. There's a bunch of those on IMDb.
The movie sucks, but boy, does it ever confirm my pre-existing biases.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. I'd name the stream on a couple of the channels a different thing, and I just was kind of thinking about Supergirl and thinking about the discourse around it, and like, not even talking about Supergirl because I still haven't seen it, but when we're at a point that, I mean, you think about the superhero movies that I just want to take a break from this for a minute anyway, and
sure, yeah, I need to take a break from.
We got the point.
We got the gist.
Superhero films. When we're to a point that the only ones that really do really well are Spider-Man, Batman, and then Superman. It does well, but only well enough that like we still have to defend it from chuds who want to pretend like frame it in a way that it didn't do well, right? But that's kind of how Superman's always been. And so the really well known stuff does well, and then but that's it. The culture of superhero films is essentially gone. It's not. I think that was more of a millennial thing, and now Gen Z is just kind of not into it. Combined with just the you can't talk about what movies are doing well or not anymore without recognizing the fact that movie theaters are just kind of not doing well.
It's
because it's too expensive to take your family to a movie now.
Yeah,
right. The whole culture we had around going to see a movie changed with COVID. Everyone's viewing habits were changed forcibly because of oh gods. And so,
I mean, literally, I used to think of going to the theater to see whether it was Marvel or something, whatever I was really excited about it. One of the Mission Possible films, I used to going to see those.
Yeah, just going to see a movie. I
felt that it was like not a religion, but like a church type experience for me, where it's like I was, I would go and this is I'm going to be completely locked in on this story. I would go in with every intention of trying to have the best experience I could. And and sometimes a lot of times I'd leave fuck yeah, feeling fucking great, saw something amazing. And like you're saying, COVID, anybody that doesn't fucking front load a conversation about this stuff with COVID changed everything and streaming changed everything in at the same time is just not honestly kind of engaging in the topic.
It also changed how studios do their math. Studios are not as concerned about day one box office because at some point it's just going to be on HBO Max in this case.
Right.
And
that's I mean, that's periphery to never mind. Continue your point. I was going to say something that wasn't relevant.
The other thing is that I think that superhero movies, because I do think superhero movies are a millennial thing. And I think that a lot of people, including a lot of millennials, see themselves as younger than they are. Millennials are parents with children and jobs now because it's not 2008 anymore. And so those are the people who are struggling right now with food insecurity and housing insecurity and increasing childcare costs.
Yeah, I know somebody like that.
Weird that the generation that has no money isn't seeing movies right now. That's so weird.
When we have to make decisions on how to budget and how to spend our money, and we know that the movie that even if we really want to see it, it's going to be out at home. I can watch it with my family and not pay $100 to go out to the theater.
Right. that was my point. Like, it used to be possible, and I realized adjusting for inflation is important, and purchasing power is more important than the actual dollar number. However, it used to be possible to go to see a movie with you, your spouse, and maybe like 2 kids, buy all the concessions, and it would cost less than $30.
Right. Which,
For
because
all-
wages
all-
haven't
yeah.
grown that much, that hasn't, like, even though inflation has made that worse.
Right. So it used to be
I'm
something
still
you could-
working the same time to make $30.
Right.
If
The
you
point
have
being,
that
it
kind of,
used to
you
be-
kind of have that. Sorry, go ahead, Bob. My bad.
The point being, it used to be something that was relatively cheap that you could do on the spur of the moment, and now it requires planning, and it takes a huge chunk out of your budget. So people wait for movies to come out on digital, and the studios know this.
Right.
I personally suspect that Supergirl is going to do really well on digital when it releases.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because not many people have seen it in theaters, but if you look at the audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, most of the ones who did seem to have liked it.
Yeah.
Uber Comrade, if you have that kind of disposable income, might I point you to the GoFundMe that I currently have?
Yeah, right here. This fun little QR code right there on screen. Check that.
Because I take my kid to see. We saw Superman last summer, and they're actually doing dollar movies. Of course, they're like second run films. Like the Ninja Turtles movie from a couple of years ago and stuff like that. Sing and a few others that they're doing like a different one each or 2 each week at Regal nearby here for $1. So we'll go do that. But I mean, like, otherwise, I'd rather just hang out at home. And plus my son is he's just now getting to where he's ready to sit down and enjoy a movie for a couple hours at a time. And sometimes we still have to pause and let him get his wiggles out and shit.
Sure.
Can't do that in the theater.
That's adorable. The other thing is, okay, so with the cost of movies, especially talking about a superhero movie, like, at least for my family, it was a family thing, right? When there was a new Marvel movie or whatever, we'd go see it. We'd get everyone together and we'd go see it. That was a family thing we did. But if I'm putting together a family movie trip right now, and I have like kids or nieces and nephews or whatever, I'm taking them to see Toy Story. Just because it's like Toy Story has just been one of those things, right? It's an all ages movie. They're historically pretty good.
And for kids in particular, even if it's not the best Toy Story, it's probably still going to be a good experience for them.
For them,
whereas, like,
right?
A superhero movie could go kind of either way, depending on what the character is and stuff.
Like, there's just more appeal. There's more mass appeal to a Toy Story than there is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
So I am completely nonplussed about the whole thing. I think it's a tempest in a teapot that culture warriors are like, oh God, the superhero movie did bad. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Another superhero movie didn't do great. I don't care.
Are we supposed to be hearing that?
I mean, probably because my microphone works and I'm playing
Okay.
my face a bit. So.
Just as long as it was intentional. I want. Anyway, the discourse around the Supergirl movie kind of baffles me because a lot of people are saying it's a bad movie.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I don't.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, that's obviously a subjective thing. But like not connecting with a movie and then saying it's straight up a badly made movie are different statements.
Sure.
And I thought it's an average movie. It's forgettable. It was fun, but it was forgettable. It's not going to change the culture or anything, but it was not a poorly made film.
Sure.
And that's what's baffling me is like so many reviewers saying it's like badly written or badly directed or badly edited and stuff. And to my experience, none of that was true. I could see where stuff was cut out of the film, but it still flowed well. I mean, it was a coherent narrative. The audience I saw it with was cheering and clapping. So that's anecdotal as well. But I feel like so much of the negative reaction to the movie feels to me like people saw a different movie than I did. The movie didn't blow my skirt up, but I didn't hate it.
Right.
There were parts that I found really enjoyable. And
that's, that said to you the other day that I'm having not seen it. One of my guesses might be or it would be that it could be that some people like Eric DeBunks, as somebody mentioned a minute ago, that he didn't like it apparently. Which surprises me because I mean he's a guy who never mind. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say it. He can fight me. He dedicated all of his content for years to the goddamn CW Arrowverse.
He's a big Arrowverse guy. Yeah,
pretty bad in my opinion. So
to
anyway,
be fair, he didn't say he hated the movie either. He said it's an average. He gave it an average rating of 5 out of 10.
I would definitely give the CW shows a medium.
They're certainly mid to be nice.
Yeah. So
there's a report that came out today from I think it's Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah.
That kind of goes into, if we would kind of cover it real quick. It is interesting because it does end up introduce me to a concept I had not heard before about how they do these things sometimes. So
go ahead and go through it. I'm going to step away real quick. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get something to drink.
What it does a little bit kind of get James Gunn off the hook, which everybody's seeming to want to throw him under the bus specifically for this. However, it seems like even though it was his version of the two cuts that were done that got made for the most part, and he had his hand on the wheel quite a bit. That seems to be the one that did better in test screenings compared to the director's version that they had
no, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. The director's version did slightly better than James Gunn's cut did. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I had not heard of a bake-off before. I can definitely hear Morgan putting ice in glass.
So can I. Maybe you should mute her.
Yeah, do that. Okay. Hollywood Reporter. This is a report that involves, various people that are insiders, worked on the film or something like that. That said, none of it's like 100% confirmed or anything, so it's take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. But usually test scores go up, and I'm not going to do the rest of the joke that they do there. But this March, the scores for Supergirl actually went down when DC Studios held a bake-off, testing competing cuts from filmmaker Craig Gillespie and the studio run by James Gunn and Peter Safran. I had not heard of a bake-off before. I don't know why. I don't know how often they do that, really. But have you heard of it before?
Not under that name, but I've heard of having read the article, I'm like, oh, I've heard of this concept before.
Yeah, competing cuts or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I had to. I think they did maybe something like that with the first Suicide Squad. Or they just said, no, here, company that made the trailer, just cut the whole movie together. Anyway, in a moment of extreme disappointment for those involved, as the stakes were high, particularly for DC, Supergirl would be a key test for the Warner Brothers division at its first feature not written and directed by Gunn following last year's inaugural outing, Superman. It needed to work to prove the studio could expand beyond projects directed by Gunn, A-list filmmaker behind the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, blah, 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 blah. Months later, Supergirl outcome is now well known. The movie starring Millie Alcock as the title character and budgeted in the $170 million to $180 million range, crashed and burned in its opening weekend, grossing just $37.1 million. Even lower than the reviled DC-centric bomb 2004's Joker sequel, which opened at 37.6. Anyway, so the various questions that are valid. Was it opening in late June a good idea? Was he the right guy for it? What was it? Budget too high? Almost certainly, I think that's part of it.
It made back most of its production budget before it even released in theaters on brand deals.
On brand deals, yeah. So,
but it did make profit, and that matters.
It still might. The trades are still hyper focused on box office, right?
Opening weekend, right? That's another thing that Marvel.
As we were just pointing out earlier, digital is a huge source of income for.
This is one of the reasons that I'm actually. I didn't put it in the thing. I don't believe, but I'm actually pretty happy about the superhero era being over for the most part. Because there's, obviously it's something that I can't even, if you told me when I was 10, 11 years old that this was going to be what movies look like in the, 2000s to late 2015, stuff like that, 16, 18, I would not believe you. I've talked before about being at school. I'd bring comic books to school and I would read them like various points when I could. And I would try to get friends or other kids around school, like, hey, check this out. This is awesome. And nobody really wanted to pay attention to it. And I'm just like, how can I get them to understand how cool this stuff was? These characters are awesome.
Right.
And then fast forward, and it's like, okay, now the whole fucking world sees what I was seeing. Great. And then, and that was a good thing. That felt great. But at the same time, lots of negatives come along with that. Chuds and the chuddy grift that attached itself to this, that as well as Star Wars.
I want to circle back to something. Or go ahead and finish your thought, and then I want to circle back.
Yeah, I was just going to say the opening weekend thing. Like movies have always been, or at least since the blockbuster era began with like Jaws and Star Wars, opening weekend is like the fixation point. But Marvel in particular, their business model, their model was like we can make all of our money that we need to make in the opening weekend, and and that they did for the most part. They would make basically their whole the whole budget and plus back every time first weekend. And then it started to not be so surefire. Gradually, it's like, and then now it's to the point where they can have something like the Marvels or whatever, and it just doesn't do it. And
well, Marvel, the MCU didn't start that way though.
Right.
The second movie was the Incredible Hulk.
Well, it kind of did. So you're right, but also not, because like that second movie came out a month after Iron Man, so people were still processing that Iron Man was such a fucking enormous hit, because that was, if you remember, that came out I think a couple weeks after The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight being as big as that was, is like, holy shit, everybody's focused on that. This is a crazy good superhero movie kind of thing. And then suddenly Iron Man comes out, and I don't think anybody was really expecting a lot from it. And
it's so good.
Right. My point was the Incredible Hulk was the second movie in the MCU, and it's not very good.
I disagree.
Compared to
it's pretty good. It's okay.
Compared to the movies that surrounded in Phase 1.
Yes.
When it came out after Iron Man, it was considered a stumble for this fledgling project of the MCU, and people were wondering, oh my God, is the MCU doomed before it even gets out of the crib?
I mean, I know some people were, but I think a lot of people, casual audiences, didn't even realize that it was connected, I don't think.
Yeah. And the same thing is true about Supergirl. Casual audiences, they don't follow this stuff. They don't know necessarily that there's a gigantic project going on to build a new cinematic universe. They just think it's a sequel to Superman, and they went to see it for that reason. But give it a couple of years to grow and see what happens. Supergirl could be to the DCU what the Incredible Hulk is to the MCU. We don't know yet. Just because the second movie in a slate does poorly at the box office is not a death knell for the entire project.
That's something I've tried to say before about like Marvel in particular. And DC, same thing applies. How often are we judging the overall health of a movie studio based on it having a movie that doesn't do well?
Yeah.
If Dimension Pictures or whatever the fuck back in the 90s started dropping bombs for like 2 years straight, then you'd be like, holy shit, they can't keep doing this. But like when we're talking about Marvel, people, because it's deceptive. It's an interconnected universe, but it's also a film studio, right? Like, so they have it just isn't as indicative of I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
So, okay. So I want to circle back to something you said earlier about how it seems like the only comic movies that do well are Spider-Man and Batman and Superman to some extent. And now my thought goes to, okay, so what that tells me is the comic book movies that do well are the same comic book characters that do well as comic book characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so we can expect the X-Men movies.
Characters are popular movie characters. Great.
X-Men's
cool.
probably going to do pretty well. Avengers, Doomsday, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So I think Doomsday will do well,
I
but
think so too.
I think that they've had to kind of put their thumb on the scales a little bit to kind of a little bit inorganically recreate some of the hype that they had before.
Sure.
I think that the hype has gotten to be real now, but I think at first they had to kind of poke it a little bit to get it like, hey guys, remember you're gonna love this stuff, like RDJ, he's gonna be Dr. Doom.
I don't think I had any hype until the X-Men trailer.
Yeah,
I would say actually the first couple of trailers I had like negative hype. They'd come out with a trailer and it would make me less excited.
And then they did
so
that.
I went back to zero.
They did that reveal of like the chairs that, and I was like, "What? Really? Y'all are just announcing the cast this way?"
Was like I have anti hype for this movie. You're screwing up, guys.
I didn't even have a whole lot of hype right at first. Whenever it was just here's Steve Rogers and this baby, and then Thor and his kid that he is adopted kid from Gore and all that, and it's like, okay, cool, but like I want to be hyped because of that you've done a lot of other movies besides these characters. I want to see that those are going to be relevant as well. You're not just going straight back to, and I don't think they are. I think that's I think
the two trailers I've seen out of them that gave me like some kind of feeling were when there was the one with I think it was Namor and Shuri and Ben Grimm. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Are we doing this?
By the way, there is a alleged plot breakdown going around now that I've looked at, and I suspect that it's real.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean, I have a good sense about these things. I feel like, and knowing what I know about the Marvel Universe, the comics, and how they've adapted those things into the movies prior to that, and plus that kind of culty channel that I follow that does good breakdowns of the rumors and stuff. I feel like it's, and I'm just gonna say this, it's probably gonna be pretty good.
Sweet,
right? I read it too, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cooking, yeah. I would see this movie
because there's a conflict at the core of it that's pretty fucking, like, I'm not sure it's going to be a pretty emotional thing. I think it has to do with Steve Rogers and stuff. So
yeah, I'm gonna say that reading the alleged plot leak is what has me hyped. Nothing about the promotion for the movie I've seen so far has hyped me for the movie at all.
I had not heard of this thing until like right now. So
yeah, reading so if you care about spoilers, don't read the alleged plot leak,
because it's literally just the main major stuff that happens in the movie is in that. So from beginning to end.
But reading that, I was like, okay, all right.
Now, do you remember a couple weeks ago, Bob, I described to you what I think the plot basically was going to be and how it was going to end and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, right?
Yep.
Like,
it's not hard to predict, though.
I know what I'm. No, it is too. Don't fucking take that away from me. No, it's not. Like if you're at all familiar with the comics version, it's kind of easy to tell. Like Loki, for example. Spoiler alert: Loki is going to be the source of the power that Doom uses to do stuff. And if you're familiar with the comics, it was a Molecule Man. That was that. Now it's Loki because that makes perfect sense. No, leaving where Loki was at last we saw him. So
right, being a tree of time.
So, by the way, also the extra scene that they are filming to re-release with Endgame, I'm pretty sure it's going to be, and I think I said this whenever they announced it too. It's going to be Loki going to meet with Steve and his family, or to be like, hey, here's what's going on. We got to hide you. Because the TVA is they're gonna prune you, and then which is kind of the inciting incident of the whole thing. Anyway,
yeah. So I think the other thing is that
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, okay. I also think that when it comes to superhero stuff, like, it's always going to ebb and flow, right? Like, I think there was a time and it wasn't ever as big as the MCU, but there was a time in the 70s and 80s when you had like the Superman movie and you had the 88 Batman movie, where like superheroes were big and have always been, not always, but for the last 100 years, have just been a part of the American cultural zeitgeist that kind of just carries forward, and it will wax and wane in popularity here and there, and it's not the end of the world that people's attentions shift. That's just I would say it's more significant that people's attention seems to have fallen off of Star Wars than Supergirl.
Yes, I would agree with that. But I also don't think the superhero movie as a concept is anywhere close to being dead.
Oh no, I don't either.
It's being diversified into different mediums. Like the superhero is no longer a genre; it's a motif now.
Right.
And it's superheroes and westerns are probably the only uniquely American genres of cinema.
For sure. Yeah.
So it's not going to go anywhere. I don't. For a while, I think. But we're making superhero TV shows on the regular now. We're making more, superhero movies to come that are probably going to blow up. It's not going. The death of the superhero movie is being overhyped.
I would say so. And like for all of the James Gunn his DCU project has failed after one outing. Well, it's not even one outing. Like he himself has overseen 3 now. It's just that 2 of them are HBO Max shows, right? You have Creature Commandos which was pretty well received, and Peacemaker, which was way better than it had any right to be, and also was a ratings hit.
I guarantee you there were meetings happening almost immediately upon the release of Supergirl to do an after action report and figure out what went wrong. Like the Hollywood Reporter article indicates that there may have been a fight between the director Craig Gillespie and James Gunn.
But it also indicates that, because there's different people are kind of saying different versions of that. Some say that there was there was clash. Some say there was just the typical director producer kind of friction of trying to work out what they were going to do. I can see it going either way. I don't expect that James Gunn would be an unreasonable guy, considering he is a filmmaker himself. And as it was pointing out, like in this article, there's never been a guy in a position like Gunn is.
Right. That's what the point I was leading up to as well. There may be an argument, give it a couple more movies, but there may be an argument that James Gunn is just not a very good producer. He may be a great director and writer, but maybe he's not a great producer.
And that's possible.
He and his partner Safran and the studio are smart enough to figure that out in time.
Yeah.
Do something constructive about it.
So here's the thing.
Clayman's almost in the can, and then they're shooting, or are they in production for Superman 2 yet?
Yes.
Yeah, they're filming Man of Tomorrow right now. It's going to release in 2027. And
super fast turnaround time. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So here's so Gunn and Gillespie had creative differences over the direction of the movie. Numerous sources tell the Hollywood Reporter the film never found its footing in the post-production process. The test scores, which are counted on a scale out of 100 points, never escaped the 60s, according to multiple insiders. Another insider said the movie's top score was 70. They were not creatively aligned, as the polite way of describing things, said one insider. Other insiders dispute this characterization, saying Gunn, Safran, and Gillespie had the normal amount of healthy friction any filmmaker and studio have as part of the process of making a movie better. And multiple sources say the duo respect the filmmaking chops of Gillespie, known for guiding Margot Robbie to an Oscar nomination for I, Tonya. Filming wrapped in May 2025. Wow. And as early as the fall of that year, the studio and Gillespie knew the movie wasn't working. After December test screening proved to be just okay, the studio decided to take matters into its own hands and took charge of the post-production to make its own cut. The studio also enlisted Jeremy Slater, Gunn favorite, who previously wrote an unmade feature based on DC's superhero team, The Authority, to help with the post-production process. The extent of Slater's involvement is unclear, although it seems he helped write scenes for a 9-day shoot of additional photography. One issue at play was the climactic fight, which was reconfigured. Other issues with the movie are unclear, but it is known the music was a key friction point. Okay.
Sure.
So apparently, what is the song that plays at the end? Because I've seen people saying it's like the worst. What is the song?
During the climactic fight, it's a cover. It's a cover version of The Middle by, I forget who did that version. What?
Jimmy Eat World?
Yes, it's a cover of that song. It's not the Jimmy Eat World version.
Is it a bad cover?
It's not a bad cover at all, but I did think it was an odd choice for that scene.
Yeah.
Because that's a scene where I would think you would want to have a song about how awesome it is to be a girl.
Right.
But that's not what Craig Gillespie went with.
No, it's literally there's the line that I guess would make him want to use it is, it just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride, right?
Yeah.
That's how the song goes, which is weird choice.
All right then.
Yeah. Oh, it actually is right here. I didn't read this part earlier, I guess. My bad. Movie had at least 4 test screenings, according to sources. Screenings held in December 2025, as well as February and March of this year. While social media users and critics are dunking on the movie's use of the cover of Jimmy Eat World song Middle, the big needle drop to the final set piece at the February screening was a cover version of Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That song choice came from Gunn, but was ultimately abandoned for the Jimmy Eat World cover. Interesting. That would have felt to me like I would not have disliked it because of it being such a specific girl song or whatever. I would have just been like, oh, this is the exact same thing as whenever Captain Marvel did it with just a
It
girl.
would feel like Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have come off as kind of tired and a little bit, tropey and lazy to me at that point. But
yeah, it sounds like just some bad decisions were made and the movie didn't come together.
Why did it have to be about her being a girl at all?
It didn't have because girl, Dane, the movie girl has to sing about girl
James Gunn for that as well. Like, his choice. Like,
yeah,
were they trying to create like they were trying to get like they're trying to please like a young girl audience with this more than anything instead of just
I don't
a movie for everybody? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm assuming that the movie's not that good when I hear from many people that I respect their opinion. It's actually very good. So my bad.
I think very good is overstating it, but it is not a bad movie. It's not anywhere near as bad as you've been led to believe.
It is a movie I will watch on streaming when I get back.
If anything, I think that I probably am being more, thinking it's better than it might end up being based on the opinions I'm taking seriously versus what I'm not.
Yeah, so, I don't want to oversell it. I'm probably overselling it a little bit. I enjoyed the movie. I think a 5 out of 10 rating is not, I would give it a higher rating than that. But it's 7. It's not an 8 out of 10.
Sure.
Well, like Malachi Edgerton now is like loves it apparently, and they said the second time they watched it, they did notice some issues, but they still kind of loved it more anyway. So I mean, it's obviously a subjective thing. That's like if there's something in the movie that you really connect with, you're gonna be more forgiving of certain things. That's
right. Yeah, I'll probably because what Lanterns comes out in August.
Yeah.
God, yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of expecting the worst for that one. To be honest. I'm not
I was like, I'm probably gonna get HBO to watch that just because was a big Green Lantern nerd for a long time. So
the way that comes off to me is that either it's gonna be pretty bad and a big disappointment, or these are the only 2 things in my mind it could be. It could be either that or it's something game changing that we can't even comprehend how it's gonna turn the whole project on its head and make like, holy shit, amazing, and that's the only 2 things it could be. I think
the odds that it's average are real low. It is going to be a disaster or mind blowing.
I think it's going to eat personally because I was skeptical at first, but the more I've read about it, it intrigues me because it's apparently going to be told. This is not a spoiler. They've said this publicly. It's apparently being told in 2 different timelines. One where Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are first meeting, and then another one that's set many years later.
Sure.
So
and so like most of what we've seen in the promotional material of them, like in the small hick town where it looks like True Detective,
that's in the
is
past.
part of the flashback sequences.
Sure.
So
they're hiding their power level with some stuff there.
And in that, I think that what they're also maybe hiding is that and it'd be kind of cool if they do this. I'd be down for it. I know there's some people, probably mostly chuds, are going to be mad if they do this. I'm thinking they're low key setting up Hal to be Parallax.
Me too.
And that
I would not be surprised. Why
kind of end up being the villain? Yeah.
Why would chuds be mad that Hal was Parallax? That's
because they're making the black guy instead of the white. The white guy's the bad guy now, and the black guy's the good guy. That's why they would be mad.
Yeah.
That's how the comics were.
They're going to trash the legacy of the Green Lantern by making Hal Jordan the villain, something that never happened in the comics.
Something that was like a major plot point for a long time.
My first exposure to Hal Jordan in the comics, or at all, but in the comics, was picking up. My first issue happened to be of Green Lantern, happened to be Kyle Rayner's first issue.
Right. So Hal Jordan's the bad guy in it.
And it's like, how he literally went evil and destroyed a city. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
That's a thing. Anyway, so and then there's different people saying that this type of back and forth that they did with like Bake Off, as they call it, is somewhat common, but not like normal. But yeah, there's a little bit of, I guess it seems like some people maybe just have more experience in the industry, so they know that certain things are not out of the realm of normal, and then other people just, oh God, they clashed. It means everything.
Yeah.
The movie was never tested again after March, I think, which is crazy.
That seems weird. Yeah.
It seems crazy that they knew it was bad in, what did they say, like summer or something of last year? Like what? I mean, I guess there's not a lot you can do, right? Like if you don't know what to do to make it better, then you don't know what to do. But like, it just, why not?
Why not take your tax credit and run?
Because they have investors as well. I was about to ask, why don't they just kick it down the road and not release it when they originally said? Well, because investors expect them to, or the movie to come out.
Yeah. So let's to switch topics. Have either of you watched X-Men yet?
Yes, I have. It is excellent. It is very good.
I just wanted to say one last thing about the Supergirl story in Hollywood Reporter. Okay. I find it odd that article, out of all the things they could have made hay about with the production of that movie, they focused on the music.
Yeah.
Which is definitely an important element in a film, but it's not what makes a film bad or good.
No.
Well, it's just one element.
So what to push back on that, what I get from this is not that they're focusing on that. It's that the information that they got about what the conflict was, that was a thing that kept coming up as a sticking point.
Yeah.
So to me, they're just kind of reporting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, they are just focusing on it to be dickheads or something. But
I mean, I guess if that was what they were fighting over, then fair enough. But I would just say, like, after reading that article, if the production was as troubled as that article implies it was, the movie we wound up with is way better than it should have been.
Right.
They still put out a movie that about 76% of the audience, last I checked, on Rotten Tomatoes, not the critics, the audience score, more than 75% of the people who watched it liked it. So
that's a good point, because here's the thing. Even if, if most people liked it that saw it, that doesn't change the box office really very much.
True. Yeah.
Right.
So that box office, I think, probably has more to do with the we shouldn't conflate the problems with the film or that do or don't exist with how well it performed necessarily, because
good films do bad all the time, and bad films do good all the time.
Marketing, and maybe maybe potentially could be the casting. It could be the way they definitely the marketing would be the biggest thing I'd point to. If I'm not saying it was bad marketing, but I'm saying if it didn't connect with larger audiences, then that's probably it.
The casting is like one of the things that almost even the people that didn't like the movie have praised the casting.
I mean, and I think that the chud element, even not just the chud element, but like as far like the kind of chuds that we tend to talk about, but like the chud component of the general audience, the percentage of the audience that is just young dudes that did not see a chick that they could honk off to in the trailer, and I guess those guys exist. I don't know, but
I saw some like second tier chuds talking about how the movie was good because it wasn't political.
Oh.
Which was a take. And I'm like, I'm sure that's true because it's a space western.
Right. But it's not political in the way that Superman was. Superman was political.
Political, yeah.
And this movie does not have. I don't want to say it has nothing to say, because it has a lot to say.
It has things to say, but it doesn't say the same things as Superman.
Yeah, it has no overarching message, but there in that sense. But it's like some of the criticisms I've seen from people who are allegedly criticizing it in bad faith make no sense to me. I've mentioned this before. Like one of them is, I've seen a lot more than once, is the criticism that the ending of the story was changed between the comic and the movie, and no explanation is given in the film to explain that change, and that is simply not true. There is an explanation for Supergirl's motives, and if you pay attention to the text of the film, it should be clear to you why that creative choice was made.
Sure.
To say that it wasn't made is just not true. You can say it was a bad choice.
Sure.
And I would maybe even be a little bit sympathetic to that argument. But to say that it was not explained isn't true. So when I see that criticism popping up in a lot of good faith critiques of the film, I have to wonder if they actually watched it to the end or paid attention. Maybe they didn't.
I'd be
If you don't
interested
connect with the film, you're not going to pay attention.
You know what it is that you're talking about, because I've watched Nando, I think it was Nando's video where he talked about that, and based on the way he described it, so I haven't read the book either. I did finally get it free to read on Kindle right now, Woman of Tomorrow, but so I'm gonna read it. But I will say this, not having seen the book, the comic, other than seeing images from it and then seeing the trailers of this, it is kind of baffling that they chose to go with such a dull aesthetic.
Yeah. That's one of my criticisms of the film too. It's like they went for like a Mad Max aesthetic.
Kind of redefined how space looks in sci-fi movies, modern sci-fi. Like, he's the first person to make space interesting again in like a kind of blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
You know, the way the visuals in his Guardians movies are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just right there. Use some of that stuff, kind of adapt that to what's, depicted in the comic, and at least one scene, maybe,
Yeah.
I wonder if the director didn't do that because he didn't want to feel like he was just aping the boss.
Well, no, I think most of it was budgetary.
Yeah. Oh, that's
a lot
fair,
of recreating a lot of the color palettes and scenes from the comic would be way more expensive, and the budget would be higher than what they already spent. But like, I'm glad you mentioned the Nando cut video, because I watched it, and when I saw him critiquing that change in the story and him describing it as they just did it because they thought it was cool or edgy, is, in my opinion, a lie. He must know that is not true. If he thinks that's true, he did not watch the film. So he's either being dishonest about what the text of the film says about that change.
I don't think it's necessarily that. Maybe he didn't connect what you're talking about with that choice. I just hesitate to say that he's dishonest, because I've seen enough of his content to feel like that he earns a little bit more.
He wasn't paying attention. I was going to say he either is not telling the truth or he didn't pay attention to the text of the film. One of those two.
Or
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was
talking about with that choice is another option.
What's that?
Like, he could have been watching the movie and seen the thing and heard whatever it is that you're saying, should have informed that choice, but he did not connect it with the choice necessarily in a way that worked for him. I don't know.
But that's different than what he said.
I don't remember him saying what you say that he said, as a matter of fact. I don't think he said that they did it just to be edgy and cool.
He says that towards the end of the video.
Okay.
He says that seems to be the reason they made the choice. And but what it's different. There's two different things to say. You can say they made this change and I don't like this change for XYZ reason. It did not work for me. But to say that the text of the film doesn't tell you what the motive for that change was is simply not true.
So what it makes me think of, by the way, is, and this, I'm not going to say it, we're kind of dancing around the thing, but it reminds me of the end of Man of Steel. You know what I mean? Like, and it seems like they would have learned their lesson about having someone with the S on their chest doing a thing like that.
Mm-hmm. But see, it's better explained in Supergirl than it is in Man of Steel, or it's better justified. I won't say it's better explained, but the text of the film justifies that choice better than Man of Steel did. From a strictly narrative constructing point of view. Not saying people should agree with the change or not, but it makes sense within Kara's character arc and Ruthie's character arc in the film.
Well, and then for also having now knowing essentially the broad strokes of the story of the comic as well. Ruthie, the way it plays out in the comics, I think is this just in my opinion is the superior way to do it. That it is. That's another thing that, just without having seen it play out in the movie, it's weird that they chose not to just do that. I don't know. Maybe they have plans for Supergirl after this movie. This is kind of like a catalyst for something else. Maybe that's potentially.
Yeah, like Tony Stark his arc wasn't completed in one film. Captain America's arc wasn't completed in one film. So if they're going, what?
I imagine that because, especially in Superman, they made such a I don't want to say a big deal, but they made it a notable plot point that her and Clark have very different temperaments.
Yeah.
And she has a chip on her shoulder that I don't know that it's going to happen now with the box office of this movie. But who knows? But I imagine
She's going to
someone
be in Man of Tomorrow.
right. But I think that there may have been a building of her towards the Red Lantern storyline she goes through in the New 52.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's possible, but I would
But I
argue that this film ends with her moving away from that. She starts the film there and ends somewhere else. But
sure,
the biggest change that this movie makes between comic and screen is that the comic is told from Ruthie's point of view,
right?
And the film is told from Supergirl's point of view, and that change alone necessitates other changes, to make sense.
Sure. So okay, but going back to the broader superhero movie thing in general. So I am hoping that, because I'll be honest, I do miss when these felt special.
Yeah, for sure.
And then sometimes they still do feel special, and like this is a rare, exceptional one that kind of transcends the genre or whatever. Like that happens, like Logan or whatever. Like it overall,
Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah. It's been a long time though since I've been like, holy shit, this is I don't know. It'd be nice for it to get fewer superhero related films and then just like more focus on, I don't know. I'd like to see just like a broader scope of types of films being made in general, which is crazy to say because I love superhero shit, always have. But
yeah, bring back, as you've described it, the mid-budget movie that has shit to say.
Yep. Miss those. Goddamn.
Those are all on streaming now. You can find them all over the place.
Yeah, they get made into like a mini series or something, right? That's kind of the.
But I actually think they work better as movies because in a mini series you have to draw out what you're trying to say. In a movie, you have to be a little more punchy. Just because you have a tighter schedule, right? I think.
Yeah.
Like my favorite
thing.
I think the avatar of this idea in cinema right now is Scott Adkins. Like the kind of movies that Scott Adkins makes would have been all over the silver screen in the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
But he was unlucky enough to start making movies later than that.
His movies have shit to say?
Some of them do, yeah.
Oh, okay. I would not have assumed.
But he's emblematic of that. Like he's an incredible action performer. Frank Grillo to a lesser extent as well. But
I wanted to like his werewolf movie. I was excited about it. The Werewolves, I think it's just called. And I ended up buying it because I was like, well, I can rent it for $10. I can buy it for like 20. Maybe I end up really liking it. I'll be glad I did. I kind of wish I hadn't.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Not very good.
But both of them have made films that are in the style of what Van Damme and Schwarzenegger and Chuck Norris and those guys were making in the 70s through the 90s. And those types of movies and those types of performers are now going straight to streaming.
Right.
Or straight to DVD.
Well, because that's where because now they can send it directly to the most likely audience, which, if they're going to streaming or I don't know if people still go to Redbox type things, but if they do, then it's definitely like older men that are doing that.
Oh yeah. Scott Adkins stuff is all over Tubi, all over it. Tubi is a fucking gold mine when it comes to this kind of content.
One of the best Gundam series is on Tubi. Actually, I think it just went off of Tubi, but it was on Tubi for a long time. Gundam X.
Yeah, don't sleep on Tubi, y'all. You'll have to sit through 2-minute ads every once in a while, but there's a lot of stuff on there. Like if you're into like grindhouse B movie stuff from the 60s up through the modern day, Tubi is your place to go.
I also endorse Tubi.
Oh, I cannot do sorry. We have so on Hulu we don't have premium or whatever the fuck it's called. So we have to watch ads. And stuff. I cannot stand it. I simply cannot stand it. I've always hated ads, and you know, since kind of becoming spoiled to not having it on most platforms, then whenever I do watch something where there's an ad dropping 2 minutes of ads in the middle of something, I'm just like, fuck this. I kind of lose it. So yeah.
Well, the thing that annoys me about it is that when we did it in the past before the internet and stuff, when it was like network TV, the shows were built around commercial breaks. So there would be a natural narrative endpoint when the ads started. And now the ads just randomly interrupt you in the middle of.
That's a good point about that. That is true. You know, now of course you watch a show like, for instance, Lost or something that has ad breaks like that, and they're definitely designed around the ad breaks. It kind of feels a bit like a what you call it, a chapter break or something like that. It's kind of how it comes off usually.
Yeah.
The concept of I've been having a lot of conversation about ad breaks and the topic of soccer these days. So, but I imagine that is not a topic for this channel.
We don't talk
topic for
sports.
My coworkers going, Morgan, what the fuck is this?
You kind of got muffly for a minute there. I didn't really hear what you said.
Don't worry about it.
But all right. What else we got?
X-Men.
Got any good comments going on here? Let's see. I mean, that's another thing, by the way. I was going to say about the state of movies is a reflection of the state of things in general.
Mm-hmm.
We get the types of movies we get not because as Chuds think, because writers they're just not original. They can't write anything original. They run out of ideas, and those fucking stupid. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. No, it's because movie studios. It's called culture flattening.
Yep.
Culture being flattened over time to only doing the same thing has happened with video games. The same thing has happened with everything. Unless something is kind of shown that is less likely to be a risk and is more likely to, you know, like for instance in the 80s and 90s, you have to convince a producer or a studio that this idea that you have is likely to be successful, but they were willing to take a shot on stuff that was not tested. You know what I mean? And now it's just like they become safer and safer as the quest for more profit, you know, continues. They just
Hollywood is a conservative environment.
Well, there was a great documentary released, I want to say in the 90s, called "The Thing That Ate Hollywood."
Oh, and
it's basically a documentary about the beginning of the state of affairs we have now, where all of the studios were being bought up by media companies who were investors who had no experience making films, right? And the changes that led to in the production of content and stuff. Like, so what we've got going on now, or I mean, what we had going on before that happened, before all this conglomeration started, was that the people who ran the movie studios were capitalists, but they also were filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And now the people who run the studios are not filmmakers. They're not artists or creatives in any way. They just want the money. And the studios before, when they were run by filmmakers who were also capitalists, because they were filmmakers, they would be willing to take risks on things as long as the studio overall was making money.
Yep.
And as the creatives were removed from the executive suite, they started getting more and more risk averse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then also you look at the success of Marvel, for example, and what does that tell other studios that hold other IPs or whatever, or that, you know, that, oh wait, Marvel's been around for decades. So there's stuff that's already exists that has been untapped. We just got to go back and look for that stuff.
We should do the Monsterverse, guys.
Yeah, you start seeing literally anything that you've already heard of or it hasn't been around or been represented in for a long time, and it's like, oh, now there's a new hot version of it with Tom Cruise and shit. Yeah,
I mean, look at the way. Look at the way.
Didn't even finish the first trailer before they released it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the role that Ike Perlmutter played in the production of Marvel, of the MCU, before he left. The tension between him and Kevin Feige, and you'll see the tension that I was just talking about at play. Ike Perlmutter was not a filmmaker. He's just a businessman to make money.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige is also a businessman, but he's a filmmaker first.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff he wanted, like he wanted to make Black Panther much sooner than they did.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make, I think he wanted to make Captain Marvel much sooner, and wanted to give Black Widow a solo film. And Ike Perlmutter was like, nope.
That's the crazy thing about Chuds claiming Marvel was woke even before those movies came out, because like, no, they literally weren't allowed to be woke.
They weren't allowed to be. Yeah, get the fuck off my
Feige
lawn.
had to leverage his career.
Yep.
And throw a pretty, like, I've got the books that kind of go through the behind the scenes of the studio and stuff. He literally fucking just like, okay, I've built up enough, a clout now that I'm just going to go in there and tell my bosses either he goes or I go.
Yeah.
And luckily that gamble worked, but yeah. That was during Civil War, by the way. So he wanted for Civil War, what was it he wanted? He wanted them to actually fight the Winter Soldier crew at the end. And when you think about that movie, that's one of the best parts of the movie is whenever you get to out to where is it, Siberia or whatever, and you realize, oh, those Winter Soldiers are all dead already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to go the way you expected it to go at all, right?
Right.
It's kind of a big fucking question mark about what's even going to happen right now, because now Steve and Tony are like, they're being cool with each other again. Okay, what's happening? And because you don't, then you see that other shoe drops, and it's like, fuck, that's a good final. Say what you want about the movie itself, the clash of the heroes at the airport, is a little bit of a, kind of let down compared to what it could have been. But that final fucking fight it's awesome.
Oh yeah, the final fight now with Captain America and Bucky
realizing
and
the Cap lied to him,
Yep.
holy shit.
Yeah.
It fucking hits him and it's like, brutal. Nonetheless, that's not what Ike wanted. He wanted them to just come together and fight the Winter Soldier team and win the day, and yay, the heroes won. Which would have not set the stage very well for Infinity War.
Nope.
Which Infinity War, pretty excellent film, in large part because they lose.
Infinity War is only a good movie because they lose. If they won an Infinity War, it'd be a bad movie. There, I said it.
It wouldn't have been possible to make the objectively best superhero movie, Avengers Endgame, if had not. Sorry. I don't need
that
to
bit's
debate
gonna come back around.
A debate about that, so it's fine.
Okay.
What'd you say?
That was a different
You and I
Bob,
didn't
so-
have that debate.
No, but it doesn't matter. I debated it and I won, and no one has challenged me yet. So
Maybe I'll have to challenge you then at some point.
I mean, they challenged that I won. Bob and Turf both disagree that I won, but I mean, they're wrong about their movies, so of course they're wrong about that too, right? My logic is flawless.
Clearly.
Well, allow this Bob time to marinate on the question, because I don't think I've ever actually answered the question for myself. What I think the objectively best superhero
Not
film.
actually objective. That's just a joke part. But like,
I know.
Right.
The whole point was arguing for what we believe is our favorite one, kind of like, and can we sell that
Sure.
argument? So I mean, gonna have to go here in a minute.
Yep.
I do want to promote one final time the fund.
Yes, check out the fund. It's on the screen.
We're not going to be able to move in time if we don't get some help. I hate to throw it out there that in such dire terms, but that is what it is. And so if you can just share it, I greatly appreciate that. I know that times be tough, and I don't fault anyone who's not able to, throw a doll hair at it.
If you can't spare money, share the link.
Yes.
Everywhere that you can.
Especially
if you're still on places like Blueski or X, because you never know what's going to go viral there.
And I will probably tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'm gonna see if I can add a breakdown of the costs that we need to cover, just so everybody knows like literally where it's going to go. It's not like I'm just asking for money's sake. It's like if it wasn't absolutely necessary, we wouldn't be doing this for sure.
It's not going to Dane's Kickstarter. Like he's gonna back a Kickstarter to get like a Wolverine bong where the claws schnicked when you suck in.
Wait, do they have one of those? Because I might need to add that. No, literally the GoFundMe was like, people for the AI thing was like, people doing this kind of fun usually ask for about $12,000. Do you want to go with that? And I was like, no, that's kind of too much. It's kind of twice as much as what I really need, really. So yeah, I already am reverse grifting there.
Yeah. Well, see, there's an argument to be made that you should go for the $12,000 because that's too much, because people are gonna, because then you might reach what you actually want, right? It's the old bargaining tactic of
I forget if
over demanding something and then allowing yourself to be negotiated down to what you're actually asking for.
Oh yeah, well,
I forget if GoFundMe is one of the ones where what if you don't meet your goal, you still get what you got.
Yes, you get to keep whatever is donated. Yes.
Okay.
And
I know
by the
some
way,
of those places are like you have to hit the goal for it to count. Otherwise,
that's for like so I mean this is it's I guess slightly different than crowdfunding a project. This is just like I need money, and whether or not I hit the goal, I still need that money.
Right. Whatever you can get is whatever you can get. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see how many people have donated so far, and thank whoever has, because thank you. Seemed like there was about 4 or 5 people so far.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
$34 so far.
Hey.
3-4 people. Thank you.
Nice. We're well on our way.
Yep. Let's see. And that's really all I got. That's all we got, folks. I was thinking about maybe doing a fucking long ass stream or something. I don't know what I would do. I don't know if that would be beneficial to just do a really long one, and then maybe trying to lean on some friends and get them to hop on and help out.
I think what you should do is contact all the people you would want to help you out spreading the word, bigger content creators who you think would be able to help you. Ask them if they would either be willing to come on the stream with you or share your link, and then arrange something and announce it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds like a thing to do. Yeah, Bob, what do you got going on? What's going on your neck of the woods?
Oh, I should be having. I've got another video coming out on Armchair Black Belt next week. I'm still. It's making me question my whole content strategy over there, because it's like the video I made was supposed to have been out 2 weeks ago, but it's been in content. It's been in copyright jail. So I just had to doing.
I understand that it's gotten much worse. Copyright.
It's gotten really bad, I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It should be out next week, I hope. But it'll be part 2 of the martial arts Western thing.
I like that video a lot. If you haven't seen the martial arts Western video on Armchair Black Belt, you should watch that after you're done here. Unless you're in the Eastern or Western time zone in the United States, at which point you should go to bed.
But it's going to be part 2 of that. The first part covers martial arts Westerns that were made by filmmakers from the West. And the
some
second
of which
part
are very good and some of which are not.
Right. Well, same with the Asian ones. But the second one, the second half is covering that genre of films made by Asian, mostly Chinese filmmakers.
Right.
There's some Korean ones there.
Sorry, I slipped.
Dang, you're slipping.
So, real quick before we get out of here, though, I did. Oliver wanted to come say hi. So I'm gonna go grab him real quick.
You grab him.
Let's check in and see how I've already done this joke for the showcast yesterday, but let me do it again. How's the preparations for Trump's big July 4th thing going? All right, like hopefully things are going well. Let's check in.
That's
yeah. So that happened.
We are in the dumbest timeline.
We are. I will say this, that I'm hoping that America gets a really cool birthday surprise tomorrow, because guess who's 80 years old, already in really, really bad health, and is supposed to do one of his long-winded fucking rants in the middle of the... By the way, did you notice that right now, Washington, D.C. is the second hottest place in the world?
Wow.
It's true.
Wow.
Other than, like, I think the Sahara Desert, one of the deserts over there. But it literally is like seeing a spike that is hotter than anywhere else in the U.S. And then other than
Well,
that,
Trump did say we were going to be the hottest nation, so promises kept.
America, give us a gift. I just want to see it like on fucking live TV. Just see him just like start to glitch out and just like fall.
Well, and Mitch McConnell's in the hospital for something that definitely
No,
wasn't
he's
a stroke
dead,
and
for
heart
sure.
attack.
Mitch is dead, I think.
You think he's dead?
I think he's dead. I think he's dead, and they're gonna fucking try and keep it a secret past the election because they don't want to have.
There's no shot that works.
They're gonna try it. Watch it.
Okay, I'm a watch.
You know, I mean, look. It would be perfectly in honor of him because this is the guy that there's no way he's not gonna let Obama put a judge on the on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
There's no way he's gonna do. Oh, he did that.
If it's true, I agree they would try, but it won't work.
I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, so I think he's dead. I think that he had a heart attack and died because there was apparently, the 911 call involved. They didn't say his name, but somebody had a heart incident, and they were trying to revive him at the scene or whatever before taking him to the hospital. And
Ding dong, the Mitch is dead. Which old Mitch? The wicked Mitch.
I said rest in turtle power.
God damn, dude.
TURTLE power. Okay.
All right.
That's about it. All right, guys. Thanks everybody who donated and who helped by sharing. It's fucking fantastic if you do that. And I hope you all have a lovely weekend. I think I might try and stream again tomorrow, no matter what, whether I have some guests on or not. I kind of
maybe you and I can talk X-Men.
That'd be cool because I loved it. I love it so far. It is great. The second episode and the opener is fucking phenomenal. I loved it.
We could just literally just talk about that opener for half an hour, just that 30-second opener.
Well, then I'd also have to talk about Jubilee's fucking ass kicking scene to Veruca Salt's Volcano Girls. That was a great fucking needle drop. Holy shit! All right, guys, have a lovely evening.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
And here is this.
Hi, welcome to Quilting with Will. My name is Will Grello, and I'd like to introduce Lynette. Lynette taught me how to quilt a long time ago, and I thank her for it all the time in ways that she doesn't even realize sometimes.
TMI.
TMI, WIP, more like it. Too much one man's too much information is another man's too little information. TLI. And one other man's JEI, just enough information. This is a black square that represents, just my father. We didn't have the best relationship. He laid a belt on me from time to time, and it taught me lessons, but it also taught me to hate. This right here, as you can see, there's a belt. It was a studded belt. This is the belt that was used. This was during a period of wombat, wetting my bed all the time. And, hopefully when I wrap this quilt around me in my coffin, that will be a lesson I will have learned. But, much like the economical problems that I have had as an adult, my father had the same problems. I guess I inherited them from him. He would just go, hey, you're not smiling right now. You should be happy all the time. Smile! Eat your carrots! Cook the dog! Cook the dog! Cook your own dog! No child should be made to do that. Dogs should be raw and living.
They're lying and they know they're lying. They know they're full of shit. They know they're lying. They know it's bullshit. We're done playing around with you. We don't like you. We want no relationship with you. We view you as the enemy because you are the enemy. If you're pro-genocide, that's not just one area of disagreement. That is, you are immoral. You are unethical. You are evil. That's evil. You can't say like Dan Goldman, I'm progressive on all these things except on this one issue, I'm a fascist.